That was so smooth by the Outlaws.
A stellar time for Houston.
London Spitfire take down 3 in quick order.
Not what you were expecting. They seem to be the favorites in this matchup.
Here we go, Cool Matt getting in there.
Fury dancing on the edge.
Oh, are you kidding me, Lixa?
Prophet, his tire, it's low, but it's still deadly. This is it, the big play, the turning moment.
We're coming at you live from Los Angeles, California. Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena, everybody. I'm Chris Puckett, your host for the Overwatch League, and I am joined by the full desk. We've got the roommates, we got Brent, we got Reinforce, and Zoe, who is fortunately in North Hollywood, far, far away from you guys. Let's start here with yesterday, because it was the opening to Stage 2. Already, new meta, a lot less mercy, some new players starting to shine. What were your takeaways from day one?
I'm loving this meta game, right? I'm loving Stage 2. These games, we've been blessed with excellent Overwatch for this first opening week, and it's only going to get better from this point on.
Now, Johnny, we got to take a look at the overall standings as we come into day 2. How surprised are you to see our top 5 right now? Who do you expect to be moving up or down on this list?
I'm not too surprised, actually. We have lots of good teams at the top. Now, Houston Outlaws, we'll see if they can continue their momentum in Stage 2. They relied heavily on Jake's Junkrat in Stage 1. So in Stage 2, we saw less Junkrat yesterday. Can they keep a top spot? We'll have to see.
I'm keeping my eyes on those number 3 and 4 spots, and as we look at the schedule for the day, you'll notice it's, yes, a big battle here in our top 4. Houston versus London, the rematch again to open the show. We're going to see New York a little bit later, the number 1 seed, and of course, we're going to close it out. Who is going to lock up the number 6 spot on our leaderboard? Will it be Boston, or is it Fusion stealing that position? For now, though, we got to open things up with the bang. Make some noise as we welcome our first team to the stage. It's the Houston Outlaws. Now, Houston started the regular season 0-2, but throughout Stage 1, they finished 7 of their last 8 matches with W's. Brent, how is this team so strong? How did they break into our top 4?
Yeah, it's honestly ridiculous, isn't it? This massive run they've made, but the reason they are so strong, Puckett, is the fact that they've got that tank duo of Muma, Coolmat. These two guys are ridiculous. They're insane. They put out performances day in, day out. While the matches are going on, honestly, their synergy is just on point.
And so they're not done with tanks yet. They're adding even more to the lineup.
That is correct. One thing we can expect in Stage 2 is a possible player edition of the Outlaws, as they already shared it on their social media that they are in the process of signing. Fact, fiction. It's still being finalized, however, their GM, Flame, actually tweeted that it became apparent during Stage 1 that sickness, burnout, and stress have become an issue for any player in this league, which is why he personally and the team as a whole start to believe in a larger roster as it gives them more freedom.
We see a new face here in the lineup where a familiar face missing. Where's Jake? We'll talk about that in just a moment. For now, though, we have to introduce the Outlaws competition. Let's hear it for the Stage 1 champions, the London Spitfire. Here comes London as they take the stage. They were so fun to watch during that championship run. 14 games played on the final day, Johnny.
I mean, 14 maps is just insane. I played 10 in a row at most on stage, and I was fatigued, I was drained after that. They played 14. I mean, after that many maps, you lose all sense of critical thinking. You just play instinctively, and it just goes to show how much individual skill is in this lineup and how good they really are. So, super impressed by London Spitfire.
Brett, these were the kings of the Mercy meta. What did we see from Stage 1? What changes do we expect for Stage 2?
For Stage 2, I mean, I'm expecting this team to go even higher, to be honest. This is a team that had a bit of a rocky beginning, had a bit of a rocky start in Stage 1. They brought it back. They were getting the wins they needed. They made it to playoffs, and then they pretty much, I want to say, upset everyone. Everyone was expecting New York to win in the playoffs, but London took it to them, as we said before, in a ridiculous game. They played 14 maps in that one day, which is just absolutely insane to think of for any team. It's a true test of endurance.
Such a deep roster. Today, they're going to be playing with this starting 6 player to watch on this list, Johnny.
I'm actually going with Prophet to see actually what kind of London Spitfire we'll see, because Prophet, he played some Junkrat last stage, he played some Genji, some Tracer, so it's largely dependent on Prophet, what he brings out today, what London Spitfire we will see overall.
This has been such a great series, and we have been fortunate enough here in the Overwatch League to watch it twice already. This is the third matchup between the two squads, so let's talk about the first time. It went 3-1 in favor of the Houston Outlaws, and back during the early matches, we got to talk about how Houston got the victory, because this was one of the big upsets that caught the community off guard.
Yeah, it's all about the Junkrat, right? In particular, Jake playing that one role, because it's ridiculous. The guy has such a massive performance on this role. Look at him there, he is. He's
so
such
pretty.
a smiley guy, such a pretty man. But he's picking up so many kills on the Junkrat, and London didn't know how to play against it in this first matchup. They weren't prepared for it. You know, you could probably pin this down to London mainly sort of preparing for New York in their matchup, but Houston, they really took them by storm and showed them what was what.
Jake, Junkrat. We saw that all stage 1. Do you expect more Junkrat here in stage 2, Jeff?
We didn't see that much Junkrat yesterday, to be honest, so we don't really know for sure. He got a small change to his concussive mine as well, so we'll have to see. But as of now, we got Linkster and Clockwork in the lineup. We might not even see Junkrat today.
Well, we talked about how Houston got their victory. Let's now talk about what happened when London matched up against Houston, and that happened in the semifinals.
Yeah.
They were playing to see who's guaranteed 25 grand, who's going to move on and play for 100,000, which London won. How did they get that victory to go on and play in that championship match?
Well, it seemed like they realized Junkrat is a pretty good hero themselves, because they were like, okay, Prophet, we're done with the Genji and Tracer into the Junkrat. Why don't you try the Junkrat? And I mean, the Junkrat in combination with Verdring's McCree, it just did work, and they adjusted to the meta himself, and they actually beat New York Excelsior later on as well. So it just goes to show how strong those picks were.
Just going to add as well, only person to predict that on the desk, really, wasn't I? Only person to predict that London would take that playoff.
Though.
Well, no, you were sick in bed, actually. You were with the flu.
Was that before or after you flip-flop back and forth?
No,
think
worry. I didn't even flip-flop at all with that match.
Yeah, you did.
I did not with that match.
I'm pretty sure
predicted it all
Angry
the way.
Bren has flip-flopped 100% of the times he's been on the desk. So let's finish with you. We've seen both teams take a victory against each other. Today, though, London's coming in with a few less players, feeling very confident in their roster.
Yeah, they actually made some changes in this break between stage 1 and 2. We have 2 players who left the roster, namely Fisher, who moved to the Gladiators, and Rascal, who moved over to Dallas. Here's a great quote from Coach Bishop. Rascal has always wanted to be on a main roster and voiced his wish to be the head of a snake rather than the tail of a dragon. Both these players want more playtime on stage in the starting lineup, and I think that's what they're going to get with the changes they made. But that means that London is 2 players down, and those are high caliber players.
And we already saw the impact they had. Both of the players got victories for the Dallas field, with Rascal and, of course, Fisher filling in for the Gladiators on day 1. But it's day 2, it's stage 2, and it's time to get this party started. LA, make some noise. It's time to send it backstage. We got Summer and Hex with the call.
Thank you, Chris. And it happens that there's 2 of us here too, Hex. 2. I don't know where I'm going with that. So, welcome, bud. One thing that we do have to say, and we have to point it out, is that Bishop is a poet, and he didn't know it.
What a great line.
What a line.
That was a beautiful line. Head of the
That was
snake
a
or the
sick
tail of the dragon. Oh, the imagery, the analogy there. So interesting stuff has happened in the offseason. I think overall the entire offseason, there's trades. We got a new meta. We got a new map pool. I'm ready to get into it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the main thing. New meta. New meta. The fights. I'm going to be looking forward to the fights in this one. And so Volskaya, to start things off, you can already see the mechs. Don't worry, it's just on the screen. He's not going to stomp his way out into the crowd. But already a new map to kick things off here. We saw a bit of it yesterday, and we're seeing a whole variety of different strategies that use on Volskaya. It's a lot of fun here, a lot of new things that are going to get thrown at us.
I was really excited to watch yesterday. I was thinking, oh, cool, we're going to see what the new meta is. And the new meta is like, hey, everybody play whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying everything out. And I was actually talking to Reinforced Johnny's like, one team will figure it out, then everyone will copy them. You know how it is. That's how everything works out. So no one's really cracked the code yet. We're going to be on Volskaya. Part of me thinks that maybe see some Sombra here. Has been so good on this map, but you can run almost anything. So I'm deigning to make predictions until I see the teams come.
That's what we saw a lot of from Seoul yesterday as far as the Sombra was concerned. It seemed like she was a mainstay here on this map. But one thing that was fun is over the weekend, I bumped into Jake in the hallways over here in the building, and I'm just like, so Jake, Prack, how's it going? You know, what can we expect? He's like, actually, nobody really knows. Everybody's just throwing stuff in there. First few days are going to be weird, Sam. I'm like, all right, fair enough. It gets me even more excited because that is exactly what I want to see. So much depth here in terms of what is possible with these heroes in Overwatch, and you put them in the hands of the best players in the world. It's bound to deliver some sick games. So already you guys can see what's shaping up for us here. Houston Outlaws are going to be on the offense as the away team. London Spitfire starting out on the defense, and already Sombra.
One thing you might notice right away is the defensive strategy on Volskaya is going to differ than your everyday Overwatch experience when you yourself play this. A lot of teams, when you play on ladder, prefer to hold near the doorway, try to get some spam in there. On the professional level, defenses happen towards the back, towards the high ground, and taking that away. And especially when you have a Sombra on defense, she's going to control the pack room. That is where the fight is going to be centered around generally, because Sombra will get EMP charge off of hacking packs and letting her teammates heal off of them.
Exactly right. You want to get that EMP up as quick as possible. And we already have Lucio played by Boink, boosting his teammates onto that point. Looking for the fight early here. Taking a lot of damage to start. And already he's going to get to, well, caught in the corner. Boink, not going to be able to get out.
No, he was going there. He was actually going right to the big pack. He knows that's where everyone's going to be. He figured that Sombra would be translocating back there, but they lost way too much early on there. Gesture did get knocked out in that fight, but should be back here on time. Of note, Clockwork is on the active roster today. He's going to be playing Tracer for this team because they want to run pure dive, and Clockwork is probably still the better Tracer over Jake right now.
On the roster, 2CP going into it on the assault. And so we got Linkser backing him up on the Genji. We've seen magical things, but there's the MP to kick things off, and they are looking to shut this down early here, London Spitfire. 2 quick kills for them, and no mercy present, no reses. And so that is going to put Houston Outlaws on notice. They have to tighten up their game.
Yeah, you can't jump if you're dead. So London just took the fight to them right there. Knew that they were going to have the EMP ready to go. And here's the thing about EMP. Shuts down everyone's abilities, but that's not even the cool part. Already 26%. We're already back on the EMP. A very good coordinated team will take chip damage to go get packs so that you'll have an EMP up for every fight.
And you can already see another thing here with the translocate. Hagofen, he's just going to be hiding in these corners. He's not afraid to get aggressive, to try and get some chip damage in there as well on his side. Anything to build that EMP faster, and they're already up to 68% on it as well. Birdring on high. Watching the angles, going to get dove immediately. I do like the aggression here. Both tanks, in fact. Cool Matt diving him as well, trying to really get in his face, but that visor's going to come out. D-Mech and the kill on Cool Matt as a follow-up as well. Hagofen helping out, but very solid defense set up here for London Spitfire to kick things off, and they've got the EMP ready for the next fight.
Both tanks, maybe not in the correct order though. You generally want your Diva up there so you don't take damage. Winston's never gonna kill a Soldier 76 1v1, especially with Healing Station. No DPS went up there with him during that push from the Houston Outlaws. It seemed they were rotating their DPS to the right side. I feel like they kind of did 2 different strategies there. They rotated right side and then they doped 76. You can rotate everyone right side and then take a high ground battle back and forth, but they kind of seemed like they got their signals crossed there. Another EMP ready.
Yeah, and Hagofen, he's looking for it as well. Seems like they're kind of dancing around that angle in perfect position, but he's going to translocate out. Hagofen not ready to hang around long enough to get that ult in play, waiting instead for the perfect engagement. He's going to decide to silence the tanks. That should end this fight once again here for Houston Outlaws. They'll get cleaned up without those beefy targets there to absorb damage for them.
Back in, another hack there, takes it down. Now Houston has to be thinking that this is their best chance. One of the interesting quasi-unintended downsides of EMP is that the other team cannot use their ultimates, which means the other team's going to be banking ultimates even if they didn't choose to. I believe Houston chose to bank all these ultimates, and they were hoping to push in against a non-EMP'd London. Not gonna be the case. EMP up again.
That's bonkers fast. Hagofen got that so quick. Just used the EMP, already got another one ready to go here for the next fight. There, sure enough, used immediately at the beginning. Prophet gonna find the kill on Bonnie. And they will get forced back once again here, Houston.
So now Houston has to be thinking, there's no way he's going to have it again, right? No way. This is their best good chance. And even if he has it, you have to go in here, right? You have 30 seconds left. You've got 6 check marks up there, all the ultimate abilities. Everyone smash that button and go in.
And Muma is stuck in the back. He's still alive here, getting booped. That's the
Primal's not going to matter.
Yeah, he's going to get Primal, get back onto that point. But he will eventually get hacked. Not going to matter, obviously, when he's just trying to bat people around like baseballs. And he is on top of it. Linkser looking in for the dash as well. He's got the Dragon Blade for the hack, and not going to find anything out of it to start. It's Boink instead will finally get the kill on Gesture. Perhaps the opening here for Houston Outlaws, except that Birdring still in the fight with that tack visor. 1 kill, nearly a second. Doesn't get the reload in time.
Still not over yet. Fighting on the point continues. Clockwork able to take down Prophet, which is a necessary kill for them, and they will finally be able to evict London from this point. Just Diva stalling out now, maybe buys a little time, but the walk in reinforcement time for the defense is so long here that they're actually just waiting. No, they waited way too long. They probably should have ended killing that Diva. Both tanks are going to come back in. London doesn't want to give it up. London doesn't give anything up for free, and Houston needs to know this.
Yeah, they're getting right into this fight. We already have Hagafun back into it as well. He's at 70% on the EMP. That might be an opening here for him, but he is going to get spotted out by the Moira. Might force him into the back line. Going to make it a little bit more tricky for him at least, and eventually he will fall. And so London Spitfire will get cleaned up, and we will have the first point picked up here for Houston Outlaws. The very brink.
Playing with fire there, allowing London to get back, but it might have been strategic. Now they get to come in here and run and take a 6v4 with all the damage they've just done. Some ultimates should be up, but an EMP could save this and turn the fight around. I'm
really liking how tight Houston Outlaws are staying together as well. Going to make it so much easier for Bonnie on the Moira to get those heals in there, AoE heals, and lots of them. Really making it difficult here for London Spitfire to find the kills, but Muma will get over one eventually. Self-destruct, not going to find anything there for Huhyal, apart from creating a little bit of space perhaps. And they will repel the attack. London Spitfire hang in there.
Well, that's the new balance, the new balance, the new dance, right? Is that it's good that they're grouped together, but they're playing against a Sombra, and they're grouped together, not the greatest idea, so it's kind of playing back and forth. Sombra will be a good answer to this heavy tank meta with all these shields. You just bust down the shields, bust down abilities, and then take people down. However, London is off of the Sombra, generally a first point strategy. Now they're going to go more traditional and run a Zenyatta instead. Some changes have come on Houston as well. Bonnie's going to be on the Ana, which can completely negate Transcendence with just a Bionade.
Exactly right, denying that healing, the AoE, and so just trying to get in here. We have, again, Lucio speed boosting his teammates, allowing them that mobility. Lynx are shredding one, shredding two, doing the damage right now. Even could find a third here as the sound barrier gets committed to this fight. Houston Outlaws not holding back.
They're all in with this barrier. Closer does have his sound barrier about to come up too. It should be enough for them to stall out. Muma gets another kill. London just needs 1 or 2 kills to be able to evict. They're gonna have the sound barrier desperation. Blade comes out as well.
Holy hell, can he find a target? Now Birdring is getting batted around, and Muma will find the kill on him. Might be the turning point here for Houston Outlaws. Still 6 players alive here for them and healthy. Cool Matt dancing on the edge, but he's got self-destructs to remake if he needs it, and they are making tremendous progress. It is done. Houston Outlaws nearly get shut out on the first point and then get the cap on the second in the end. 2-0 lead for them.
I have to wonder if that's film study what they did on first point, because it was very odd. They could have killed that D.Va at any given time had they collapsed on the D.Va who was sitting pack room on first point. But they know that London has a tendency to throw things in a fight that's already lost, thinking that they could always bring it back. And to London's credit, they have. They have surprised teams a lot by contesting points they shouldn't necessarily, throwing bodies in there. But it seemed like Houston knew that if they just gave them enough rope to hang themselves, they would do just that.
There you go. Perfect, spot on. And while it has certainly worked for the advantage there, Houston were able to turn it around in the end and just kind of play off that momentum, never letting London get comfortable. And so London, they started out stage 1 a little shaky. We're at the beginning of stage 2 here. Could be seeing a pattern perhaps, you know, as they try and figure out what is going to work in this meta, get comfortable with it. No longer the mercies there for the Falcon Res.
I mean, a lot of these teams are just trying out new strategies because the new meta shifted, but beyond that, we have a whole new map pool now. So not only you're adjusting new meta, you're adjusting to an entirely new pool. So I think we're going to see a lot of interesting play, maybe some sloppy play, some experimental play, things like that. But Full Sky, I do believe you will see generally a Sombra on first point. It's one of the best ways to try to hold it, and honestly, it's really good for healing. Where you're playing around is this area. You can see the aerial view. You have a small pack and a mega pack right there. Those are huge sources of healing, and when Sombra hacks those, they're regenerating like instantly. Those packs are always there.
That's how we saw Hagafun getting such fast EMPs in that first hold for London Spitfire. Both packs hacked, both of his teammates getting the heals, and he gets that ult charge off of it every time. So we'll see. Fanny, you can see kind of dancing around right now, just waiting for that clock to tick over so he can start hacking those packs, start getting that defense backline ready to go. Instantly the hack, and now London Spitfire going for a bit of the dive themselves, although they have decided to change it up. This is a different take on things. We have the Widow in play early.
Birdring gonna try to find an angle, rotate around. He wants the rest of his team in there to create chaos. He would really like for Houston to forget that he's even around.
Yeah, get in there, create the space. Not gonna find the target there. Looked like an Muma! So low! The headshot dink in the end, but he will get healed up in the end by Boink, as well as the packs. Birdring, no joy for him. Halfway to his infrared.
Any kill on the offense is such a big advantage on this first point, as it is with many assault maps, because the reinforcement time for the offense is so much quicker than the defense. Defense, you start at the exact same spawn on the other side of the map. It's the same spawn on first point as it is on second point. You have to make that really long walk. So they're just looking for even trades if they can, and EMP comes down now.
Birdring already just blazing away. He did switch off of the Widow very quickly there. Back to the Soldier. 76 to have a bit more of that output. The DPS sticking together with his group. When it's close quarters, you get the biotic field as well. You can supplement that healing as well as your deeps. They're kind of dancing right now, being patient about this London Spitfire. They still have plenty of time on the clock here to crack the defense, and they've already forced one EMP, although Benny's up to 70% again on EMP. So quick.
Well, you see, they don't even want to poke. They don't want to poke because they don't want to give Pack control over to Body so that he can get more EMPs. That's why they're so patient. They're going to go into the giant decisive attack and try to get kills rather than doing poke damage and just giving them EMP for free.
You can say Prophet. He is definitely getting tagged down. He will be able to get topped up here with his teammates trying to collapse on Muma there. Muma dancing on the edge. He will get caught. And Prophet with the pulse bomb. If you group up too much, you can see the opportunity here. Right on the edge. Not going to find a kill. Clockwork instead is the one to deliver big with the kill on closer.
Clockwork gets a huge kill there, but Bonnie is out of mech. It is only Clockwork and a Boink alive. We're going to try to come in, but at this point is absolutely over. That is how you play against a Sombra. You take away that room. It's our room now. You guys can come in and get your packs if you want, but you're going to have to go through pulse bombs. You're going to have to go through tanks to deal with it. When you saw Sombra come into the Volskaya meta, everyone went right side. You bully in right side, and if that's small room on right, or stairs through the back, or up top on the right, it all revolves around these pack rooms and making the team uncomfortable to play around them. And if they can't get to that pack, they're essentially running a single EMP.
Yeah, they will not have that EMP to play off of. But London, they've done a good job of holding on to a couple of ults, the support ults, and we're going to have Birdring with his tack visor as well. Prophet will surely have a pulse very soon here. Dragonblade gets whipped out by Linkster though, but he gets dropped down to half HP immediately. Not going to get anything out of it in the end. Instead, it is going to be Hago using his Transcendence, and we will have the sound barrier coming out now. It's going to be Birdring. It is the show for him. Dodging him just in the nick of time here. No targets to work with, but Prophet hunts down Boink.
Soldier 76 so good against these two tanks. Diva's defense matrix not what it once was. If that bubble's down from Winston, there's nothing to stop it. They're going to self-destruct on point, and this is absolutely enough for Houston. You start getting a couple of kills on Volskaya defense, and it's over. Defender's advantage comes into play just as offensive advantage comes into play on the first point. London has to reset.
Solid work there from Muma. He collects the kills, but he was actually keeping those guys in the open, making them vulnerable to that self-destruct.
Careful, you can get a little greedy out here and not know exactly when those help is going to arrive.
Whoa, Prophet.
You really wanted to demech that Diva. You demech the Diva, you give everyone else a lot more power, specifically Birdring, who just switched to the Reaper.
Oh, buddy, we got an invis Sombra on the hunt. You can see, looking for a juicy target here. Not going to find one, though. Still has Translocate. And we'll get out of there, exactly. Out of there, but still in the fight. There it is. The EMP gets used immediately.
I didn't even have to see or hear EMP. I just see that Zenyatta got deleted, and that's exactly what EMP does. EMP will strip off shields off of most heroes, and since Zenyatta's 75% shields, he goes down to 50 HP, and then you just whisper at him the word of death, and he falls apart.
I mean, hell, you just give him the Sicilian kiss of death at that point. It doesn't need to be, it could be dramatic. It doesn't need to be brutal.
I've always thought it should just be the cartoon animation of like his body floats up with wings. As soon as he gets the EMP, I mean, he just gets deleted.
I'm out of here. Clock, he's in the back line. He's backing up Banny as well. So between the two of them now, they've kind of got him sandwiched in here. We'll see if he can see the opportunity. Sees the Transcendence. Not going to be able to find a kill, however, with that pulse. And Links are yet again with the Dragon Blade. Looking.
A couple of very early kills. That is a sound barrier that comes down from the Houston Outlaws. Maybe enough. One kill can sometimes be enough, but Clockwork's got to stay alive here, and he knows he's in trouble. Going to back out, wait for his team so they can actually have a decent contest, but it has been all blue.
And the self-destruct as well, right in the open. Muma getting body blocked, and he's going to go up in smoke. Clockwork is dancing right on the edge, but Prophet is here to challenge him, and Birdring just going to clear the side as well with the Death Blossom. Clockwork taking advantage of that, the easy target there, but he will get caught. And so far now just trickling in. Houston Outlaws one at a time, desperate to buy it, desperate to defend. Muma gets into the site just in time as well to keep their hopes alive, but it will not happen in the end. Full mat boosting in, trying to close the gap, but it wasn't meant to be. Tied up 2-2.
A couple of different styles there coming into play in Volskaya. They stuck themselves with a Sombra towards the end as well. Let's see what Houston had to say about their first point.
Here's your play. I'm running. You can't catch us. I'm good. He's dead. Chris is leaving. I'm go. Help me, boy, please. Here. Lucio, done right. Lucio, done right. Close to trans. Lucio dead. Stand point. Done main soon. Guys.
Yeah, you can hear it, man. They get hype. They get hype, and it is, I mean, come on, you can't help but feel it, man. They are focused right now like lasers, Houston Outlaws.
I ran into Houston a little bit earlier today on the studio. They seem very confident. I had some interesting words to say about London, you know, considering London had just knocked them out in stage 1.
I mean, it's not a great city, London. It's dirty. I mean, the tube is really crowded. I mean, I get it. If they got some, you know, something to say about London, you know, I understand. I've been there.
I meant the team. You know, I've also been to the city, and I get that. Yeah, it's a wonderful, beautiful city. I'm sure that Brennan, Sideshow are not going to be very happy with us.
Definitely not from London. In fact, from villages in the north, but
not
yeah.
even close. All right, moving on here. We do have a second round here of Volskaya going forward, and it does seem like second verse, same as the first, as London will run a defensive Sombra here. The big difference last time is that they got off with Sombra after first point, where Houston decided to stick with it. Apparently like the power of the EMP.
And look, Boink getting boosted by Boink. I mean, Boink is boosting Linkser, rather. Alrighty, a little bit more DPS. Perhaps that could give the punch here necessary to find that one-shot kill. And I mean, obviously, Mercy can still crank out a lot of healing. So that is something to consider here as they start to make progress on the first point. No contest as Jester goes leaping in. He is dead. He is done for. Linkser on high. Gets spotted out, but they are still making progress. One tick here for Houston Outlaws on the first point.
I don't think that London is very concerned about the one tick kind of piecemeal. They want to go in and actually just win the fight. They'll let them have some of this free push. As long as they don't get the absolute cleanup there, they do get a kill on a Clockwork. I have to think that Linkser at some point is going to be challenged. There it comes the D.Va to challenge him, but he's just going to get out. Nope, here comes a tank flank.
Oh, sick, and the hack as well, man. They really collapsed on him. Did not want to let Linkser get out of there in one piece. And there's that hard reset you were talking about here, Hex. They get that fight, they win it decisively, and only one tick gained, although a little bit of progress into the second tick here for Houston Outlaws. Hagofun just charging in with EMP. He's been detected, the game is up, and he's gonna be able to get out.
They're not going to sacrifice positioning to deal with one tick. That's how you end up losing all of the ticks there. So Muma's going to get res here. Boink uses res. That's important to note because now that res is not going to be available for Linkser, who's generally a very good res target, being away from the fight for the rest of the team. Hago does get out alive.
Thinking that he was going to be able to pick up the kill there.
Looks like a reset.
Yeah, it looks like Coolmat chucked himself off the side of the cliff there into the icy waters below. Doing a bit of a Titanic, but
Definitely room on that door for 2.
Yeah, at the end, man. I mean, that was cruel. But we will have the EMP coming in. Linkser, however, the EMP goes off before he can get the kill, so that's something to consider. There is a chance here for the London Spitfire to turn things around as they go charging in as a unit. Falk is out as well here. Boink on high, trying to get the heals out there to keep his teammates alive, and will get the res off on Bounty into Chaos as well. And it's looking very good here for Houston Outlaws. They've succeeded in picking up a few of the kills. And again, that res so far away.
Everyone on Houston just used their ultimates. That's what they did the first time around. That's what they're going to do the second time around. Build that bank. Everybody use your ultimate ability, and everyone get in there. It leaves the cupboard rather bare for this last push. Clockwork going to look for a giant bomb to open this up.
Open. He's got Prophet looking the wrong way. He could get the stick there. Doesn't seem like he wants to commit it onto Wuhyal unless he can get the job done. The manual way here, just point blank. Sound barrier out though. Gonna give a little bit bonus healing here, bonus barrier to his teammates. That is Closer, trying to keep him in this, and he will do a fantastic job. It's nothing but blue in the kill feed. And London Spitfire, as the overtime wick burns, they will hold. 3 points picked up here for the Houston Outlaws on the first map of this series.
London going to have a chance to snag away Volskaya here. Their offense looked a little bit swifter on the first point. Second point got a little stalled out, so we'll see how things shake down here. Definite easy win condition for them to get there, though.
Well, you pick up that first point, and then you get that tick. I mean, things could be looking up here for London. Hagopun, at least at the beginning, yeah, he is not going to be going for the Sombra. It's obviously going to be Bounty on the defensive side here, who will be running Sombra. So it seems like that is going to be the mainstay. Muma doing Muma things. You guys will see in a second here, but he has got Symmetra ready to go. Come on, Symmetra. You can do it, Muma, I believe.
It's always been a very good Sombra map, and I think it's no coincidence that this is her cinematic map. This was the map she debuted on in the cinematic. Of course, a rogue agent. Is she good? Is she evil? Nah, she's just selfish.
Keeps you guessing. Exactly. She's just in it for her own sake.
I get it, man. I identify with that.
I just, you know, it's like Reaper, man. Come on. How are you getting the wool pulled over your eyes like that? So easy. Oh, the target got away. You're supposed to see some hacker. Like, you got the CCTV cameras going and everything. You should be able to find her. I don't know. Reaper was a bit of a pushover.
Why does he need a door open for him if he can turn into smoke? You know, he just go
under that as well, right? I mean, he should kind of be able to get in anywhere.
That's an airlock. Must be an airlock. All right, well, a little aggressive scouting from Matt. Matt is the scout on this team on the D.Va. He's always out in front. He knows he can get away and get healed up in time. Generally gets a little all percentage for his healers, but he's always calling what their comp is. But Birdring takes down Bonnie immediately. That is such a great transition onto a hero that can deal with Sombra.
Exactly right, that flash combo. There's no translocating if you're dead. And already Birdring, you can see him just plinking away, doing the damage here, and they are definitely going to get a very quick take here on this first point, unless something big can happen. Lynx are always capable of delivering, but he only gets the 1 kill, and Clockwork, not long for this world either.
Just going to buy a little bit of time. There's only a few heroes that are just solid Sombra counters. Because her translocate gets her out of any situation. She really shouldn't be dying to anyone who doesn't have a stun. You got a Roadhog who's got a hook, which is great against Sombra. McCree is the best against it with just a flashbang and then dead. And so any sort of stun is going to completely counter Sombra. And you see this is important. Bonnie only has 62% in his EMP. The time is now for London.
They know that they have an edge here. They're posturing on the side. Where he all goes charging in, knocking them out, displacing them somewhat, and they are trying to move together as a group. Waiting here for Prophet to make the play, but Prophet gonna miss his pulse bomb. Looking for that backline flank, and now it's Birdring, gonna be able to get out of here, but the EMP goes off. Bonnie able to get it fast enough. Birdring, however, point blank, gonna put the shotties to use. 2 big kills here for London Spitfire with the self-destruct going down, trying to get something out of it, cool man, but it's not gonna happen.
It's a beautiful adjustment by Hago there to hear the Sombra coming and pop his Transcendence before he gets hacked. It's an adjustment that top-level Zenyatas have made over the last Sombra meta years, and he crushed it there by keeping his team alive post-hack. Beautiful play from the Zenyatta player will lead to London Spitfire taking Volskaya.
Yeah, you can see just how happy Prophet is at that result. Bit of hype here on London. But Prophet, he's a man who is here to do business.
It's a split-second audio cue that you can hear her decloaking, you can hear her coming in before the EMP comes off. The best Zenyatas in the world will get their abilities off before that happens, or hide away, or get blocked. Nice play from Hago there.
You're getting a bit of the replay here of Hago as well. Definitely one of the standout Sombra players, at least so far, from what we've seen in this series.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
and Spitfire will be your Overwatch League Stage 1 champions.
In their 14th game of the day, the reverse sweep coming back to take home $100,000.
너무 경기를 많이 하다 보니까 피곤해가지고 너무 좋아할 기분도 아닌.
새 게임 하는 것 자체는 솔직히 좀 많이 피곤한데요. 근데 또 뭔가 서로 그냥 되게 집중력 싸움이 되는 것 같아요. 그날 타이틀 매치를 하는 팀끼리.
But Nelson, can you get him? Can you get him? No, not quite. Sabiel has to back away. Murdering with the snipe. There's the self-destruct, and he can't get back on the point. London Spitfire will tie up this series.
그때 그러니까 약간 승부가 어느 정도 결정 났던 것 같아요.
And they still have yet to find a point of weakness, a way to stop Birdring and Profit.
저는 저희가 이제 버드링 선수가 눈바니에서 너무 잘해준 것 같아요. 버드링 선수가 약간
Birdring, free firing, unopposed.
프로핏 선수. 도라도 마지막 세트 때 발키리를 잡은 적팀 메르시 발키리를 잡은 게.
And Arc is killed by Profit.
너 도신이 형이 내 제스처 형 말해.
제스처 선수가 오늘 MVP인 것 같아요. 마지막 세트 때 저희 팀원들 멘탈을 좀 잘 챙겨줘가지고.
위도 무대 프로 할게. 때려봐.
Oh, gesture.
제 생각엔 도신이 형인데. 네. 제가 쪼낙 선수한테 좀 많이 잘렸었는데 그만큼 도신이 형도 상대방 딜러를 좀 많이 잘라줘서.
Oh, that is dirty right there.
네, 최고입니다.
일단
따봉.
현재 진행형으로 오늘은 최고인데
오늘만 최고.
네, 오늘은 절대 저희는 저희를 최고라고 생각하지 않고요.
네, 전 최고입니다.
배우는 마음가짐으로 하고 있습니다. 그래야 발전할 수 있다는 생각.
런던이 최고라고 생각합니다.
비도신이 최고는 아니고?
런던이 최고입니다. 스테이지 2도 꼭 우승을 해보겠습니다.
스테이지 3.
그땐 내가 없지 않을까.
Definitely hope that Doshin is not off this roster by stage 3. Love that guy. He's got so much personality coming into this roster. I mean, there's so much talent here, but you need those guys like Gesture, like Doshin rather, who are really going to get guys fired up in those long grinding matches.
Well, I mean, you see that Houston's going to make some changes for this next map, perhaps hoping to bring their heart and soul back into it, some more of their fiery players. We've got Jake going to be coming in, Raucus coming in as well, as we move on to Nepal for a second. Raucus just got his hair done. It looks amazing. Looking for a bit of that shade of green.
Yeah,
it's aquatic.
He's still got the swoop though, man. He's still got that swoop. And then of course Jake, he is back to do the work. Curious to see what he'll be running today, seeing as how his namesake, the Jake Rat, unfortunately not dealing quite the same deeps.
Well, I've got a treat for you though.
Right,
going to Nepal. And Nepal is where Junkrat was played before he was buffed into the current status as he is now.
Don't care about that.
Y'all still see some Junkrat, I think. I think we go to Sanctum, you're going to see some Junkrat. But opening up on here, they're going to probably run a Zenyatta, which is why Raucus is coming in. Raucus also going to run almost anything.
I mean, it's Zenyatta's map after all as well. Like, you need to get your Zen Specialist in here. It's like that extra 5% boost. Him feeling at home, comfortable. He knows where his bed is. Go down, have a lie down between stages, between points rather.
Bed? Do Omnics dream of electric sheep?
They do indeed. They do indeed. And they wonder what is the meaning. Are they alive or not? And
so do I.
We're getting a bit of the overview here, guys. New maps coming into stage 2, refreshing change here, and obviously that just changes up everything in terms of meta, in terms of what these rosters are running right now. We all get to kind of discover this together and really get to see what these teams are capable of. It is London who have started off strong here. They're up 1-0 in the series, but going into map 2, I mean, now you've really got Jake in the mix, and this guy can do tremendous damage.
Jake can play nearly everything, and him with Linkser really widens their pool. Clockwork generally going to be a hit scan specialist, a tracer specialist when he is playing for this team, but when you have Jake and Linkser together, I mean, pick any two heroes and they can find some sort of combination when it. Jake, a jack of all trades, maybe not the best of anything except making a case for Junkrat right now, but can play a Soldier 76, can play a Genji, can play a reasonable Tracer, which seems like he's going to be rolling out on now. So, got a Tracer at 76 is the deeps for Houston Outlaws. The other side of things, we have Genji Tracer. So, similar, but a little bit different flavors.
Similar, perhaps a little bit more throughput here with Linkser on the Soldier, can hang around in the back line and just kind of whittle down targets, working up to that tactical visor, that ultimate. So Jake dancing on the edge, he will get topped up here. I like this duel right now between Jake and Murdering, just sticking to it, challenging on the point before it can actually take over, and Jake chasing him back.
Yeah, playing against Jake as a Tracer has to be a little bit difficult because you don't know how he's going to play it. Tracer's one of those very stylistic-based characters where you can play it a myriad of different ways, and Jake is not really as predictable as some of the other Tracers that these guys have been playing and scrimming against.
As long as that shield is up now, we go into the big damage, and Jake is there to capitalize. Jester dropping low, and Jake there to finish the kill. Playing the angle as well, will get topped up, and he will certainly get back into the fight soon enough here as Boink will find the kill on Murdering, and London Spitfire about to get landed. They are expelled from the point.
It's an enormous first kill because of who it was. I mean, that's Gesture, who's been the raid boss for this London Spitfire team. As good as everyone on this team is, Gesture's been playing at a level that is off this planet on Winston, and the tank duos for London Spitfire have been playing so well in their run through stage 1 that taking him out of the fight early, I mean, that's as close as like killing both supports. That fight's over for London.
Yeah, that does make Houston Outlaws feel better when they kill Gesture. You're right, Lucio. A little bit of the snipe action here from Raucus as well with the volley. And while Mova's gonna be there, jumping in, and again, Gesture is gone immediately at the start of this fight. 30% progress now made here for Houston Outlaws on this first point. And London Spitfire playing this very patiently. They lose Gesture, like, fair enough. Okay, well, we'll just kind of sit back over here and enjoy the architecture.
Seems they figured it out. Now we are entering the ultimate phase of the game. You see those check marks now starting to accrue on both sides of things. A barrier into Blade could be good for Profit, and then on the other side of things, Linkzer's gonna pop Tactical Visor before the party starts.
And he's gonna find the kill immediately! Both DPS dead here for London Spitfire. Both ults not gonna get used. That Dragon Blade is out of it immediately, and Linkzer perfectly done on his side of things. Just wrecks house, and London Spitfire once again forced to back off.
Well, not only that, they get much more value out of their Transcendence as it keeps people alive. Hago popped his late, was unable to keep Profit alive. In Transcendence, you generally are not going to end up dying to a Tactical Visor. In that situation, you can out heal a lot of that. It's one of the great counters to Tactical Visor. London's got to go in again. Barrier out.
Whoa, leaving it out the self-destruct in the open as well. Interesting, was kind of keeping an eye here on when Coolmat would decide to use that, if he was going to use it on the side or not. Closer, hanging in there, but he will eventually get killed. Momo there to stomp him into the ground. Primal Rage a-flowing.
If I told you they used Sound Barrier and Dragon Blade that fight, would you believe me?
Maybe.
They got nothing done with it. It did absolutely nothing. Profit gets Sound Barrier and then just goes into the corner and listens to his own iPod, apparently. Comes back, doesn't have a blade going. They got absolutely nothing, and now they have no tools to work with going forward. This map is all but over in favor of Houston.
Listen, oh, they will get a touch on the point. The Wick is burning. Gesture will get caught, but he touches the point again. That's not going to be enough, though. Nobody can get in here quick enough to stop it from taking over in the Houston Outlaws' favor. And Houston Outlaws, with the game plan, they stick to it and they get the damage done. Listen, Hex, you can't toy with us that way, man. You know, it's just like, we all trust you completely, mate. If you tell us something, we're just gonna take it at face value.
Yeah, you should not. You do not know me well enough that apparently I am a devious trickster. This is a map type that Houston has to win if they want to win this map, because London is just overall not great on control. They kind of lose their coordination. It looked a little bit sloppy. I don't know what button they have bound to their ultimate, but they should change it and unbind it, because some of those were not working well together at all. London just looks absolutely sloppy. 99-0 on that map. There's no other way to say it.
5, 4.
So, I mean, going into the second point, we're going to have to see. Can they turn it around or not? And this is going to be it. Houston Outlaws with a big chance here to tie things up in this series, 1-1. They need to get the lockdown on this point, and already high ground on the left side, getting occupied. We're going to have a big angry monkey charging in right from the beginning, and Lynx are on high with the Pharah, just raining rockets into those choke points.
Just free damage, 50% in his barrage already. Damage boosted rockets do everything in the world that you need. Now Lynx is going to be careful, discorded, and that's going to help the Soldier 76 deal with him.
What is this? Just like the merry-go-round here coming in from London Spitfire. Eventually, Momo, he's not going to be able to make it out, gets pinned against the wall, and that will end him, but Jake gets the DMAC on Wuhyel as well. And so now, who is going to get to win this fight, this initial one? It is so crucial here for London Spitfire, considering how the first point went. They want to get started strong here.
That kill on Linkzer's enormous. He had barrage up, and I think he was about to shut down that little party closet in there and rain death from above, but the late kill from Profit onto a hovering Linkzer prevents that timeline from occurring. And now London in a pretty decent spot themselves. It's so much harder to come back in as Farah than it is to hold control as Farah, especially while they're just hiding in that corner.
Especially y'all can just like delete your rockets at will as well. That's kind of annoying. A little frustrating, maybe missing out on the damage. We're gonna see if he can get the positioning here, as already Trance has been popped by Hagopun, not wanting to give up that fight whatsoever, and we nearly had the back cap coming in there from Jake. Clever stuff, but Murdering gonna find the kill on Raucus. Immediately shut down here at the beginning of this fight, despite Jake's antics on the point.
Tactical Visor is a great counter. Houston should be kind of happy, though. They were able to get at least a sound barrier out of that fight. Transcendence also used early in that mech, so now they can come into their own sound barrier and keep everyone healthy. Expect a very aggressive engagement here. Sound barrier into barrage could be a thing, and that's one of the few chances that you get to live through a barrage.
Yeah, kind of waiting to see if he's just going to drop onto the point, try and get that barrage in there. Close quarters might be the case. The barrier getting dropped in the middle of it, and so far, Lynx are under pressure. Hunted down by Gesture, and now Gesture can go to town.
You don't want to be out here. You don't want to be out here against Gesture. No, bye. Boink off the edge. A knockdown in a mid-flight. Farah, Gesture. It's night and day. When he's alive, you're in trouble. When he's dead, you get 99-0. It's that simple.
Find the kill. I mean, oh man, I was blanking on it for a second there. Who's the villain? Whatever, we'll get to it later, man. Gesture, once again, charging into the thick of it, and here we go. Lynx are with the dash. We'll start things off. Lynx are with 2 kills, in fact. The Finn is turning it around here, perhaps for the Houston Outlaws. This might be it. Their chance to start making some progress here on this point. The kills keep rolling in, and London Spitfire will get overwhelmed in the end. So Houston Outlaws, they got the horns out. They're not going down without a fight.
Finland's gift to esports right there. Still at 91% for London, though, as they come back in here. They're going to have a pulse bomb of their own. Pulse bombs on both sides. See who wants to get kind of cheeky with it. Jake looks like he wants to get cheeky, go around back. This is a great little flank to try to spot people out, but now he knows the right side by process of elimination.
And his teammates getting, punched in the face. That also helps. Probably calling out to him. By the way, Jake, get over here into the fight perhaps at some point today if you can make it. Profit though, gonna get sniped by Raucus. That's fairly good. Murdering, however, will be able to trade that kill, and now we're into the melee. Point is still under fire here. Jake looking for the angle and eventually goes for the stick. Connects on the one. Woohyel is out, but Murdering and Woohyel managed to turn it around. Lynx are going down to the self-destruct.
And now you've got no one back here to help out Raucus. He can't defend himself, so he just has to transcend his way through it, hoping to get the damage that they need from their Winston play, but that is a low damage output, and now the cleanup is on the chase.
Yeah, you can see Boink doing the best that he can here. Lucio's, man, they are slippery. But eventually they will be able to get him down, and Hagopun will be the one to find that kill. Lynx are in the corner. What was that? Deciding to go for the Hero Blade in the end.
Super patient play there from London, though. All that time, Houston was in control of the point, but they didn't rush to the point. They didn't sit where they were supposed to be because they wanted to finish up kills and make sure that the point hold is going to be easier the next time around.
Oh, moment of silence, that pisses him off. He's gonna get in here and start punching people. So he's alive on it, keeping Houston Outlaws' hopes alive to try and tie things up as Lynxer is looking to connect fist to face, but he's gonna get caught by Woohyel. And overtime now in effect here for London Spitfire. They are on the edge of tying it up 1-1 on this second map. Cool Matt gonna be gone. And who else is here to try and delay things further? It is not gonna happen. Boink can't make it there in time. So we're tied up 1-1 here on Nepal.
Just as simple as keeping Gesture alive. And I have some good news for people who are fans of the Junkrat, or the Jake-Rat in particular.
I think they're fans of the Jake-Rat, maybe not Junkrat, but Jake-Rat, yes.
So the 3 of you out there who like Junkrat, we're going to Sanctum next, and this is where Junkrat can really shine. Sightlines are denied over the stairs, you're just lobbing bombs. I say it's not spam, it's area denial, but that's generally where you saw Junkrat before he was ultra powerful, before he had 2 minds. Hipster Junkrat loved Sanctum.
Hipster Junkrat, he was doing it before anybody else. Before patched Junkrat, before buff Junkrat, and now nerf Junkrat, but it's still the same Junkrat all along. Look at him in all of his glory. Jake, just doing his thing, chucking nades in left and right. Into the, he doesn't care, he's got nades to spare. He'll chuck them into nowhere as well. Same thing, off the side.
Unlimited ammo in Overwatch here, no worries about that. So they're gonna rotate around sides, and now you have to pick a door. And what's behind door number 1? Nades. Behind door number 2, tanks. Is there a third door? We'll see.
Yeah, you might have mines behind that third one if Jake has anything to say about it. There it is. Oh man, pre-nerf, that might have been it, but instead he won't get the kill. Still hanging around here, keeping close to his supports. Jake just needs to stay alive, and he will be here to do the damage for his team, especially if they try and challenge in this room. No escaping the Australian with the grenades.
And what this leads to is that Houston's always going to have the shield advantage. Jake's going to be cracking shields. Beyond that, Houston is running an Orisa with Muma, and they've got Cool Matt as well. So he's going to have a better shield overall and not quite the same pressure on it as Gesture's shield is. That bubble is a fleeting thought. It will be gone the moment it's set down if Jake has anything to say about it.
That was just so brutal, Linkser. Just watching Wu Yao plummet to her death.
It's kind of cruel. Hey. All right, switches come in. Gesture is going to go off of the Winston onto the Orisa, and now they're going to run a Mercy as well. I like that these changes are coming out now because the next fight will occur around 50%. You make changes after that, you're in trouble. They can still work their way to ultimates in this comp.
There we go. And you're right, change of comp. We will still have the Halton now, Jake, dancing around with it. Oh, it's the sniped! Get out, Prophet having none of it. No tire for Jake.
Yeah, I think that trick has been played out. People know that that's where the tire comes from nowadays. The Goodyear tire around the edge, taking flight is a little bit too much. Linkser tap dancing on the edge there, almost gets yoinked off. Meanwhile, London has put some pressure and some presence on the point. Gonna force Valkyrie out of Boink.
So, oh, they do get it. Muma holds it off the side, but then Muma gets Gesture as well. They've traded Orisas over the edge into the abyss. And well, they managed to get the job done in the meantime. Houston Outlaws collecting kills despite the fact that they don't have their four-horsed tanks, their four-legged horse tank, whatever. Get a bison tank.
Quadruped. That's as specific as I'm willing to get.
The quadra-tank.
Desperation time for London. They can come in here. They're going to have a lot of ults. Most importantly, both support ultimates ready and should be fired off here. And a self-destruct can zone them out. So London can take this. Houston actually would be in a decent position to just give this up and get all ults out of London.
Oh, we'll have the deep self-destruct getting thrown out. That actually burns some time off of the tac visor here for Link, so he's not going to be too pleased about that. Contesting the point now. Links are still hunting for the squishy targets, and that's going to be somebody. Exactly, Momo getting the halt and hook. Well, no, just the halt off into the abyss. But this is not enough. London Spitfire will manage to flip the point in the end.
They used everything in their arsenal to do so. A nice tire there towards the end, actually. Prophet was going up over the edge. Noticed that Raucus was hunting for a hiding Junkrat. Able to use the tire just to take him out, keep himself alive. Prophet's gotten the better of Jake a couple times in the junk versus junk duels.
Now, well, again, there's the halt. This is getting kind of silly. That was a big one. Y'all is out of it. And so there is a man advantage. The supercharger gets canceled out immediately by Prophet. Prophet doing work right now. Wins it over versus Jake. Again, you're right. And Cool Matt commits the self-destruct and even gets the fadeaway shot onto Prophet. There we go. Houston Outlaws will be picking up the second map, tying up this series 1-1. Some style points at the end there.
It's a map type that Houston had to win, and you can say what you want about Matt. Maybe he's the best diva in the world, maybe not. There's a lot of good divas. Best bunny blaster in the world by far. He does it time and again with that light gun. It is uncanny. I think the mech is just slowing him down.
Yeah, he should just stay in Mini Diva. Let's see it, third map. I'm sure we'll get the chance.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Riptire, Profit, a pick here, could be a $100,000 ultimate.
In the tie-breaking map of the Stage 1 finals, it all came down to one last stop on Dorado for the London Spitfire.
This is it. 20 seconds. New York needs to push. London Spitfire, 20 seconds of defense away from being the Stage 1 champions.
As New York struggled to turn the corner and take the second point, it was Profit who would help seal the deal for London. Profit released his Riptire with 5 seconds on the clock and a game-changing moment in his sights. What he found was a crucial target for the Spitfire's win, as he eliminated Ark's Mercy.
Could he do it? Oh, he's after the Mercy, he gets Ark! That's huge! Transcendence comes in from Jonak. New York scrambling.
With OT ticking away, and without Mercy's healing or res ability, the Spitfire were able to clear the payload and become Stage 1 champions after an epic reverse sweep. That right there was the turning point where Profit and the London Spitfire turned a sour moment into something sweet. Presented by Sour Patch Kids Candy.
It's halftime. Welcome back, everybody. We are live in the Blizzard Arena, and it's time to break down the action from our first 2 games between the Outlaws and the Spitfire. It's been a great rematch so far, and again, these teams showing us just how back and forth this series can go. So let's start with the first game, and in our first match, it was Volskaya. We got Bren, we got Reinforced to talk us through a new hero that we're seeing quite a bit now in Stage 2.
Yes, we're seeing the Sombra, right? And we haven't really seen her before. We saw her a lot in Contenders, to be fair, because we saw these maps, which really works on. You can work around the mega health kits to build up your ultimate charge, and she utilizes her hack, of course, to limit her opponent's ability to use their ultimate abilities, especially to counter. So you use the EMP aggressively to counter your enemy team, and you have a moment to capitalize.
Yeah, the reason she's so good on these maps is, like you said, Reinforced, it's hacking the health packs. Assault maps have a lot of these close health packs. You can hack them up, and when your teammates use the health packs, they build up their ultimate abilities. Well, she built up her EMP. But this was definitely a game, this map 1. It was like a tale between these 2 teams, how they utilized the Sombra, right? It was a little bit of a sort of a backwards and forth that was going on. And London actually utilized Sombra much better than Houston did. It definitely pointed out Houston's sort of weaknesses with you running that one hero. London were very good at sort of baiting out the appropriate ultimates, using Hagopun, going in with the EMPs as well. He was very good with his target selection as well throughout that entire first map.
Hago was really impressive. The one thing that I took away from this was you saw both teams running the Sombra. Well, it was London who adjusted first, and you saw it was the final attack for London. Birdring swapping to that McCree, taking out Bonnie. And if you look at the numbers of this game, when you compare the 2 Sombras, well, you have to give Hago a major advantage when it came to charging that EMP. Probably because Bonnie was dead, not able to get to those numbers as fast. So, Johnny, looking forward, we're going to see a lot of Volskaya. Do you see Sombra on more than just this map?
Yes, I think so. I mean, Sombra is so good on Volskaya and on Root specifically. We're going to see Root later in the series, of course. So we might see some more Sombra coming out. But for Volskaya primarily, I mean, in the past, in Overwatch history, we've seen so much Sombra. Dallas Fuel, for example, they have Chipsayan, who's an amazing, it's a Swedish accent, who's an amazing Sombra himself. So a lot of these teams who have very proficient Sombras are going to be really good in this stage specifically, I think.
Looking forward to it. Let's talk a little bit about the second map. In the Houston Outlaws today, they're showing us something different that we saw in all of Stage 1. It was always Jake, it was always Lynx. Well, game 1, you see Clockwork. Jake comes back in the mix for game number 2, and the Outlaws had a pretty impressive start to this. Bren, walk us through, how were the Outlaws able to steal this first point?
This was amazing, right? And Nepal gameplay in general. Look at this clip, right? This is just the intro. This is the start of Nepal, the first round, and Houston had no deaths at all in this initial round whatsoever. And notice how they're just dancing around London. Basically backwards and forwards. Jake and Birdring are taking 1v1s in the background as Tracer, just doing a bit of damage. Jake is actually coming out on top on a hero he doesn't play too often. And Houston the whole time are playing passive. They're playing patient, waiting for the right opportunity to just poke and prod, and eventually they do find an opening.
But Bren, Jake can only play Junkrat, right?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, his Tracer was really good as well.
It was.
And it was pretty funny, actually, because we saw Houston Outlaws play the Soldier, Link's on the Soldier, of course, but on Volskaya we saw him play the Genji, so we saw 2 very different styles from Houston. Not really any consistency between the 2 maps, so you have to wonder, do you stick with the Soldier going into the next maps, or do you go back with Linkster on the Genji? We'll have to see.
Speaking of Linkster, let's roll some of his highlights, because I asked our producer, keep your eye on the young Finn. Linkster definitely the X factor for the Outlaws. When he's on fire, this team is steamrolling, and You looked at his attacks on Genji, he had 0 final blows, only 4 limbs, 5 deaths on their first attack. That was 4 minutes, 30 seconds of Genji play. As soon as he goes to that 76, 6 final blows, 10 limbs, 0 deaths. 76, is he in the new meta, or is this just the maps?
No, Soldier is working great for them, especially because Genji is such a risky hero, you want to say, because you have to dive aggressively, you have to play a lot of space, and you're forced to do these engages that you're perhaps not so comfortable with. But when you play with a Soldier 76, you can sit in the back and you just spam down the enemy heroes, you know? So there's not a lot of risk involved with the Soldier 76. So perhaps Houston a bit more comfortable just sitting back and perhaps letting London punish or do the mistakes, rather.
We're all tied up 1 apiece. So far, we've seen very different gameplay from the squads, and London, though, has stuck to their same lineup. When you look back at how they beat New York at the end of Stage 1, Fury was in the lineup, you had Bedozin, Nuss was in the lineup today. These guys are kind of sitting back, watching the action so far. Do you expect to see them in the second half?
I mean, it depends on how confident the coaching staff is and the players, of course. We might see them swapped in. I think it's much of a team morale question. I mean, do you want to perhaps let your players down and sub them out? That's not a very nice thing either, you know? You want to keep your players in the game. So there's a lot of confidence in play and how much you trust maybe Bishop, who is the coach.
And let's talk about the Houston side real quick, Brent. Okay. Sorry, we got to wrap this up. We got to talk about Houston swaps. So far, we've seen it on the supports. Raucus was out for map number 1. You bring him back in. Boink has been in both games so far, with Bonnie taking a break in game number 2. What should Houston do moving forward now that the Mercy meta is over?
I mean, stick with what you've got going right now, right? On the pole, stick with what you're running. I feel like that's probably the best composition you can work in here. You're going to King's Row. That's the next map. And that can be... You're going into it, right? And that can be very good for the Junkrat compositions. I doubt we're going to be seeing it here today. I feel like Houston should stick to the dive because they've shown they can play it very well on the pole. They've shown on that first initial round they were playing it incredibly well. A lot of sophistication there in their general gameplay. But here in King's Row, it's a bit of a different ask. Generally, when people think of King's Row, they think of tank compositions. Reinhardt, your favorite character.
Come on, guys.
The Reinhardt, it's back.
The Reinhardt.
We're not going to be seeing that today, though. It's not going to be happening, in my opinion. Dive is the name of the game once again. We're going back to the contenders days. And, I mean, I've got high hopes for Houston here. They've shown they can play it, but they do need to be careful of getting lulled into this false sense of security by London.
All right, you guys have seen 2 games. We got 2 more to go. It's the 3rd time these 2 teams are matching up, and it's in the regular season right now. So let's get the official prediction. I didn't want to do it early. We're halfway through. Johnny, who walks away with the win? We're going to King's Row next.
I'm going with the Stage 1 champions. No, Spitfire. No, I believe in them so hard. And Houston, I'm finding them to struggle.
London Spitfires, Johnny, what about you?
I'm going with Houston all the way, baby. Let's go, Houston. I'm feeling the hype. I've seen what they're capable of in map 2. Johnny's...
You're all going to be disappointed. You're wrong.
Yes. Secretly, he's like, no.
No, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong at all. You're going to be seeing him. Houston, #Greenwall, up the ante, all that madness. Let's go. I'm ready for a game. Let's go.
Put it in the chat. Enough from us here at the desk. It's halftime. It's over. Game 3 is coming up on the other side of this break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
we are all knotted up, 1-1 here in this Houston Outlaws London Spitfire match. With me right now, though, is a London Spitfire fan himself. You guys might know him as Austin Creed from the WWE, but we know him as Xavier Woods. Everybody give it up for Xavier, guys. So, I gotta ask you, man, London Spitfire, that's your team. They took stage 1. How elated were you to see how they performed?
I was losing my mind, and I was telling them this yesterday. I was watching on stream, and I'm at the gym, and people are looking at me like I'm insane because once the comeback started, I was freaking out. I'm just screaming in public like a madman. People are like, what are you watching? I'm like, dude, this is, come on, this is in stage 1. Y'all don't do this. And so it's cool because I get to educate people out in the public about this, and it's just crazy to me, like we were saying earlier, that this is happening. This is a thing. The Overwatch League exists. I love it.
I know, it's amazing, right? And me and you, we've actually seen each other at like various different like gaming-based tournaments, competitive gaming tournaments and whatnot. But the Blizzard Arena, like, what have you seen about this experience that's really stood out to you?
Just the fact that this whole production is so good. It's not like we're starting from stage 1 off the ground. Like, this is top tier stuff. The fact that you got this halo for payloads, you got all these LEDs, all these awesome people come out to support. Like, it's here and it's amazing, and now people have to take notice. They have to understand, like, this is what it is, you know?
It's real. We real over here. We major. All right, so you are known for your entrances and, you know, the over-the-top antics in the WWE. And we actually have teams that try to emulate that here. What makes a good entrance to the stage when you're doing your thing in the WWE?
So I'm gonna have to say energy is the most important thing, because even when you're playing, it's different just playing somebody online, but when you're playing in front of a full crowd and full audience, there's a different kind of energy. So when you come out, you wanna get focused, and you wanna, most importantly, get in your opponent's head. Because when they see you coming down, they don't have that kind of energy, then they're done up here.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I think you could actually like maybe work with some of the players, you know, and get them something unique to come out with, you know, because right now the Florida Mayhem, they kind of wiping everybody off the map with the entrances, man. Their entrances have been top tier, man, top tier.
Okay, fair, but my boys, London Spitfire! Doing some things, work with them a little bit, and you can check that stuff out on my YouTube channel, Up, Down, Down. Go subscribe if you haven't subscribed already.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I know you want to see the rest of the match. We're going to go ahead and jump into the second half and send it on over to our casters, Simler and Hex.
Thanks, guys. I mean, that is hype. The man, he could write the book as well. You know, it's just like we need the entrance music, we need the lights, it all needs to go dark. They have to have masks, they have to have costumes. I mean, let's go. The list goes on.
I just like the plug at the end. That's some expert level stuff right there. Who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
Don't ask me these things, Hex.
Yeah, well,
don't ask me these things. Undertaker.
There you go. That Undertaker's guy. I'm personally Andre the Giant.
Oh, but you went classic, man. You went classic, but he is awesome. Yeah, when he's got like Carrie Fisher like holding her in one hand and stuff like that. I mean, those pictures are sick.
And Princess Bride. He's in Princess Bride. Anyway, Spree is coming in for one of the first times because we are going to King's Row. You have to imagine Spree will be playing some Zarya, and we also have Fury coming in for Booyal.
So a bit of the shift. I mean, this is kind of what we expect out of London. They have that depth in roster, even if they have lost 2 of their players. I mean, they got traded away, sold away. They have 2 guys down.
We know where they are.
Mechanics, yeah, exactly. It's not like they're under a rug somewhere. It's like, have you seen Fisher anywhere?
So my Fisher's always the last place I look.
We need to put one of those little blinkers on them. You know, you get closer, it starts beeping. So I mean, eventually we'll get them, guys. I'm sure we'll see them in action. We have already seen one of them, in fact. So I mean, it is cool, but London still have that depth of roster where they can always keep their opponents guessing, wondering what strategy is going to come through, because they can have players that can specialize, right?
It'd be awesome if London ends up being very good at this map, considering it'd be a home map. King's Row in foggy London town here. King's Row is one of the best maps in the game, always has been in my opinion, and it's not very divisive. Whenever you boot this up on ladder, no one's like, oh, it's King's Row. Everyone's like, oh, it's King's Row.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Not a bad word to say about it.
I'm glad we got into stage 2 because, yeah, I'm a big fan of King's Row myself. I enjoy it. There's a lot of up and down, a lot of different possibilities, ways to hold that first point. This is a hybrid map. You're going to be capturing that point, but then you get to push the payload as well. But there are so many options, different ways to approach this map, and so always a good time. And I'm going to be very curious to see how it shapes up here in stage 2 now that the players have had like a week and a half to work on it and start testing things out.
As Desk was saying, it's generally more of a tank-heavy map. Maybe not in the first point, because first point of hybrid maps often play a lot like assault maps. You want to dive in, you want to win a fight, and then once you start winning that fight as often, it's very difficult for the defense to pull back. So you might see dive, and then a transition maybe into a Reinhardt and Zarya on the streets phase of things. You could also come out with a Reinhardt and Zarya, which it seems like Houston wants to do right now, and just do that slow prodding push, bullying them over. Also, right now, Linkser is queued up on Hanzo. Might just be for the Sonic Arrow, but Hanzo used to reign supreme on this map. He's so good at getting picks, a lot of good angles, so it's time to see some new heroes, and Houston's going to give us the show.
Yeah, you can see the snipers get into it, and it looks like Linkser, at least he's sticking on it for now. Yeah, he is going to stick on it, so we'll see if he gets anything out of this Hanzo. If the arrows hit their mark, that scatter arrow into those rooms as well can be deadly. He will get up there eventually. But yeah, keep an eye on the Linkser and see if he can find any of those shots to start things off here. As the scatter arrow goes through, a little bit of damage done. He's gonna get some eyes on the defense here, just hoping for somebody to come back around that corner, and eventually, no, just barely misses that shot.
Well, it works so well in combination because you have to hide inside and around corners and small spaces to be away from this Hanzo. So he's not just picking you out, but then you have to worry about scatter arrow. More importantly, you have to worry about Jake just throwing bombs in there. Houston simply walks onto the point, gets a couple kills, and that's it. They just take first point, just like that, easy peasy.
Super clean, and when you've got Spree all charged up on energy like that, he just turns into this damage-dealing beast. Zarya, so much fun when you've got the energy flowing. You just take single targets out yourself, no worries at all. You basically become that third DPS, and so working towards the grab. We'll see when they decide to get it into play, as the payload is going to start making its slow progress out.
They're working towards a three-piece combo here, which is the best combo and unstoppable in the game. Spree's going to get Graviton, then you send the Dragon through it, and you know, you could transcend through that if you're the other team, unless you get hit by a bio grenade from rockets. You hit all three of those pieces, it is a guaranteed wipe.
It's brutal how much damage can go out there. So, I mean, Jake, all right, you can see him just doing his thing, keeping his sight lines open here. He just wants to stay alive and plink these nades around the corner like this, exactly. Just making it a bit more difficult here for London. Spitfire to commit to the fight. And in the meantime, you've still got Buma going to town. Spree once again, nearly fully charged up on energy. So much damage can get cranked out by him now. And he just doesn't hesitate, goes straight for the grab. They want to commit to this fight here, Houston Outlaws. So let's see if they can actually make it work. They do have quite a few kills going their way, and it looks like they will win it thanks to the grab.
Pops the grab and doesn't even need to combo it. That means they're going to have a lot of pieces to work with after the fact. And what Spree did was focus down on the tanks there. We've seen London, the strength of this team is in their tank play. He saw Gesture and Fury where he could get them, knew that the defense matrix was not going to eat up his Graviton, and got in there. He's already at 32% again, playing with very high energy. They've had no good answer to this.
Yeah, Zarya's just I mean, we keep bringing it up because it is important, but the more energy you have, the more damage you deal. So you can just start melting people when you get up to that 100 energy mark. You can see up to 80, you're a real threat. Linkser with the scatter arrow on Birdring as well. Birdring not going to be too pleased about that one, and there we go, Linkser. The kill on Prophet with a little bit of help there from Spree.
And it's been a methodical stomping through of King's Row. The payload has not stopped yet. London is still on this dive composition, even though they're going against several anti-dive heroes. But I think they're going to stick to it because they've got ults. It's time to start mashing them. Too late, 3 dead quickly.
Oh, and there we go. The Dragon Blade is out. Prophet, he's going to get hunted down. Barely missing that shot. There's the scatter point blank. Not going to find the kill. Prophet, however, will get pestered out of it. Not going to be able to find anything with that Dragon Blade. They continue to make progress here. They need this challenge on the point, and they will. Fury commits to self-destruct, hoping to cause some chaos, but the Dragons are going to go intertwining their way through. No kills because of the trance. But they're still hanging in this fight, London, although this could end. Can they get anybody here to challenge? Not in time. What a fantastic first push here for the Houston Outlaws. Jake, even he's surprised, just waving his hands around in the air. Doesn't know how it went so well.
He doesn't know where that London team was. He was never really pressured. They never got to the back line, even with a dive. And really nice play from Houston to pull back just a little bit when the dive did come in. The first fight of Streets phase, they got dove upon, backed up a little bit. Like I said, that Winston bubble just cracks under Junkrat pressure at all. You empty your clip and that is gone. And then the tanks died shortly after. No one's putting enough throughput damage onto Spree, who's shielding himself and getting energy. And London had no answer, just got marched back. They didn't win a single fight.
Doing a lot of talking here as well on the Houston Outlaws, keeping that energy up, keeping that calm flowing. That's exactly what you need. It looks like a team right now that has a game plan. They stuck to it on the offense, and it worked marvelously well. So going into the defense now, they have a minute to prepare to get zeroed in here, and we'll see what they decide to stick with to start things off.
Prophet's going to put himself onto the Pharah on offense. I think this is one of the maps that you can be running a Pharah on defense.
Muma, make my day.
It's not happening.
Make my day. Could this be? Hex. Hex, could this? No! No, Muma, no, please, don't do it!
We almost saw Symmetra out of Muma. That is what has my co-caster up in arms. We're both begging for Symmetra. It used to be played on Kings. Very, very long ago, back in the day, the former Envious, former IDDQD roster used to run a little bit of Symmetra on Kings. Back going way, way back, there was a team, I think Melty Esports, French team, used to play Symmetra constantly on this map, but those days are gone. Offensively from London, Pharah, Widow. Defensively, hey, you get to see a little bit of Moira here, and J-Crat.
Gone along with my hopes. These aren't fake tears, Hex. For a second there, I thought dreams were about to come true for all the sim mains out there, but not meant to be. Muma just toying with you. And now that we have Birdring here with this Widow, we'll see that closed angle kind of defense set up here from the Houston Outlaws, not wanting to give him any easy targets to work with. And well, Prophet trying to capitalize on that. If you're going to stay all grouped up around the corner, I'm just going to chuck rockets in your face and see if I can get anything out of it.
Yeah, then he knows that the natural rotation would be to go through Hotel, so he's just going to keep alternating rockets on each doorway. Shields now back up charge. Be a little careful of Linkser, but no real pressure on Prophet just yet. And this statue is so good for Pharah to just hang out at.
Exactly, you can see him kind of dancing around. Although it looks like he wants to try and get in position to capitalize on this. Not going to connect. So close. And Hagapun still alive here on the high ground, rotated around. They are making progress now, London Spitfire on this first point. It's going to be on Houston here to commit to this fight, to start contesting on this point. Prophet still alive in the sky, eventually connects a rocket with Linkser, gets the follow-up on Spray, and this should certainly be it. Jake, nothing he can do to stop him.
Yeah, Hago got himself in a really cool position there. They knew he was up there. They sent a fire strike after him, but there was really no one else to be able to rotate up there unless you send Jake up there on the Junkrat all alone, and then you're losing so much damage on the ground. Jake gonna switch onto the Tracer now instead. London continues to run with the same roster. Actually, Birdring will switch off Widow. Makes a lot of sense. It's always funny on Kings Row, there's a second part of this map in Streets where there's a perch right on your screen right there that Widow, it's designed for Widow. That's all it's there for, is for Widow to sit there. And yet, Widow's still not very good on second point of Kings.
Yeah, you need to find those guys who are willing to take the fights to overextend, and while at the pro level, they're not often going to make that mistake. So Prophet, well, we can see he's got that barrage ready. Could decide to commit it. He knows that they're alive in the back line, looking for it. Point blank, surprise! Can he get the follow-up? He's looking for it, and eventually a punch to the face will do the trick, and Prophet with both kills on the back line here from the Houston Outlaws. They will eventually start to make some progress. Jake, there we go, goes down to Prophet. I mean, Prophet right now just reigns supreme. 6 final blows.
They've had very difficult times dealing with Prophet in the sky, all the check marks, all the ultimates ready for London Spitfire, and they've been able to poke Prophet, but not enough to make him uncomfortable and get out of there. It has to be Discord and it has to be Linkser. Linkser's gonna near his tactical visor to get there as well. So far, London just pushing in right now, and they've got everything to work with.
They were aware there that Momo was in the back line as well. Attack visor will get popped, and there we go. Barrage point blank kills himself. We probably get C-Mech, but that doesn't matter. The self-destruct was there, and so the remake will happen. This is all over the place, though. Kills abound, back and forth. Gesture still with the Primal, decides to pop it immediately. Just looking to stay alive here. Continue to keep hopes alive for his team on this point. He is definitely a beefy target, but he decides to back off. And they will get the reset that they were looking for here, Houston.
Some very good Tracer play, actually, out of Jake. Not necessarily his signature hero, but he's been putting a lot of time and work into it there. And able to camp the Resurrection. Closer tried to get in there and resurrect Prophet, but he got shut down. Mercy very vulnerable in that state. Jake takes advantage of it. And now back to the drawing board for London. And given how well Houston's offense went, they're already going to be behind the 8 ball here.
So we're going to have to see, but these Mercies, you know, they're going to have to adjust. If you're going to decide to run Mercy, it's going to get a little bit more complicated to get those reses off. You'll need some support from your teammates. Hey, guess what? Pulse Bomb. Not going to find anything, though, in the hallways to the tube. And they will decide to force their way out here, Houston Outlaws, and now's when it gets chaotic. Muma in the back line right now, batting Hagapun around, and he's in that on Closer as well. Closer calling for support eventually. We'll get it, but not fast enough. Muma just stays on target.
wants to get the extra damage and get up to a pulse bomb because they're going to hold off. They can't push in without their Mercy. It's simply not enough healing to have a single Zen there. Zen is very good at a lot of things, but healing an entire team is not one of them. Instead, they're going to get off of the Mercy, move over to the Lucio, and that's because Prophet is off of the Pharah. He's going to move over to the Genji instead. So transitioning to a pure dive composition now. Houston running a very similar comp, except that Linkser has the 76 up. Going to hold this high ground. It's going to be very difficult for them to get there. Prophet should be the one challenging it.
Yeah, this is textbook what you want to be doing here. If your soldier just backing off, you've got the advantage of range. You are a little bit vulnerable if they decide to dive you, and so he's fully aware of that, trying to hang out. Once that trance down, exactly, just goes for the attack visor immediately. Unfortunately for him, however, he's got a diva in his face. Can he find a kill here with it eventually? Not even on the Tracer.
They're going to self-destruct over the top as well as Closer goes down. A little bit surprising that London didn't send maybe 1 or 2 people to try to push the cart during that, given that they took the engagement around the bends and drew a lot of fire from Houston there. Maybe would have been able to sneak that one towards the second point. When the cart gets stuck here on second point, it's brutal. The walk back from your spawn to even get to the engagement zone is forever. And now with a little less than 1:30 on the clock, getting down to maybe 2 decent pushes for London, Prophet's gonna have to carve out a miracle with this blade.
They were leaping all the way back to spawn. And Jake right now, yeah, man on a mission. Just waiting patiently. Here we go. Oh, he doesn't get it. Eaten up. Eaten up?
It's gone. It doesn't matter. It's gone.
Still, that was some quick reactions there coming through from Fury to deny that pulse.
Self-destruct goes out, and now they're getting bullied around. They wanted to probably combine these a little better so that they were able to knock people into the self-destruct rather than away, but so far, London has dodged this bullet. Blade should be coming out momentarily. Never mind, back to spawn with you.
Get out of it. Muma, man, he has been picking up kills with that Primal Rage. He doesn't care, and they are now set up for a bit of a fight. Muma staying alive as well, gonna get topped up here by his heals. Dancing around on the payload, or London Spitfire. They still have some ults to commit to this fight, as we have less than 30 seconds left on the clock here for them to push it to the second point.
That's a huge kill to take Boom down. It's Spree down as well. There is no big bodies left on this point. London should be able to walk it in.
And with 30 seconds left, there it is, the pulse committed by Birdring. Fair enough, it's Tracer, he'll be able to get one back soon. And well, they just in the nick of time before it even goes over to overtime, managed to push it to the second point. And so we will see progress on the third here for London Spitfire, but they really don't have a whole lot of time to work with. If you see 4 minutes 33 at the top for the other team, London Spitfire, nearly only a minute left on this clock.
Even if they complete this map, they're in a terrible spot right now, as Houston with just an enormous time bank advantage going forward. However, London has everything that they need to commit to this. You see Bourbon going back into the Widow. Widow becomes much more viable on this last position rather than Streets.
Exactly right, you got that high ground to work with, long sight lines as well. And well, Prophet finds Spree, attack visor has been popped, that's Linkser. Just trying to push London Spitfire back around the corner, and it is effective. With that attack visor out, it feels like London, they finally have to get into this. 5 ultimates in play here for London, though. They really need to make up their minds as to when they want to use them. You can see Prophet with the Dragon Blade, kind of waiting on it, looking for the squishies.
No need to use it just yet, everyone's very low. Now, though, they lose both supports. Does London? Houston could be able to hold this based off there's no healing on the other side.
Yeah, that's it. He's got the trance out. Now he gets into it. Raucus is down. He's looking for Boink. Gotta try and find him as well. Prophet. Eventually, Boink gets caught, but that was Birdring connected with the shot. Well, Prophet just trying to make progress on this payload. They need to buy time to get their supports back into this. Closer, of course, can get in here fast, provide that taxi service.
Great tank play out of Houston as they both provide distractions, and this card has gone nowhere in the interim. Muma still batting people around with his Primal Rage. Soundbearer's out for both teams.
Just so much HP to deal with here, and Muma, he really needs it. We'll be able to get topped up just in time, but London Spitfire making a lot of progress here. Payload nearly there, overtime wick burning, and they cannot afford to leave it. Jester has to stay alive on this payload, drops his shield to just buy a little bit more time, but Boink, he is wary. He's not gonna get caught off guard. No backcapping here. He's gonna stay alive and keep the contest going for his team, but pretty much he is gonna be the last one here. Can they actually get in here to stop this? It doesn't look like it. Houston Outlaws on the edge. The last second blink in from Jake, but he recalls out, and that will be it. London Spitfire will succeed in pushing it to the third point, tying it up 3-3. Definitely not clean enough, though.
No, it took them all the way to overtime. Time remaining in Houston's bank to capture first point, 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Time remaining for London, well, Big Ben is broken because they get 0.
Yeah, that'll happen once a day. So there you go. Good luck, London. You're going to need it because this is going to get a bit dicey for you, but still, I mean, anything is possible with the quality of these players. They obviously won on stage 1, and so they are capable of anything. If it turns into a stamina game, they've proven themselves. Still, Houston Outlaws now, if they've got something in their back pocket to just end this swiftly, I mean, their initial strategy works perfectly.
Yeah.
Not even any real reason to change it up.
There's no reason to try to end this swiftly. You have 4.5 minutes here, and trades are always going to favor the offense on Kings Row. If you're trading out 1-to-1, you're going to get your guy back quicker a little bit. And then you eventually just have more bodies. You can play that war of attrition, and eventually the defense will break. So I don't think there's any need to change up anything for Houston here. 4.5 minutes. Worst case scenario, it doesn't happen and we draw. They're playing with house money here.
Playing with house money, there you go. Couldn't be clearer. As the countdown is over and we get into the thick of it here, Houston Outlaws on the offense begin the slow, steady push. Muma will have that shield up. That can give some space here for Jake to work with the hook, see if he can get any joy out of finding a target there. I like that from Linkser, making sure he checks the back line. No traps. Birdring is dancing on the edge, but he has been spotted.
Shields are now down, which means the full-on retreat from the London defense is they have to go back into their hidey holes and corners. Interesting enough that Jake is on the other side of the duo here, and he's not going to be the Junkrat, rather the Roadhog. A huge pick with gesture down. The floodgates are open, and I don't see a way in which London can pull this one back without a giant play from one of their DPS players.
Yeah, they need to really deliver here. Prophet, if ever there was a time for you to come alive, it is now. He's kind of dancing back there, getting healed up, but Fury gets, well, hooked right into oblivion. Gonna be dancing on this point, trying to keep it in this one tick necessary here for Houston Outlaws, and all they have to do is keep it tight, keep it close. They're getting the kills, and it feels like it's just a matter of time here for Houston Outlaws to get the job done. Prophet goes for the blade, then has to leave the point and gets obliterated by Muma. Surely this is it, and yes, Houston Outlaws will collect their win and go up 2-1 in this series versus the London Spitfire.
We haven't seen a ton of spree from this Houston Outlaws team, but when you talk to anyone about spree, the first word that comes to mind is Zarya, one of the best Zarya specialists, overall a great player with great game sense. And Zarya's best map has been for a long time, Kings Row. Flexed it there, simply marched the cart from beginning to end with no resistance.
Genji pipes, Genji pipes. I hit a pipe, I hit a pipe. Okay, I'm grabbing some Moki. I died. Fish on me. You can this. Genji on me, I need help, I'm dead. Genji has dash. Oh, nano speed. I'm owning. We're just owning. We don't even need I'm carrying.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
the first map of this very game. A lot of people were wondering, where are Jake and Raucus? So of course I went to investigate and talk to their ever so lovely GM Flame, who told me that their team actually considered Assault map a lot harder to get comfortable with on short notice, and that's why they decided to go for their core corn-dog roster for this one, as they previously had really good results on this kind of map type. And they're now only one map away from their first win of Stage 2. So let's see if they can back it and bring it home. And for all the action, we're heading over to Sandler and Hex.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Now, Hex, I know you're a fan of corn dogs,
yeah.
So you got to explain this to her.
I'm a fan of any meat on a stick, really.
How can you go wrong?
The core corn dog roster she's referring to is there was a team called FNRGFE, which was a team that had a corn dog and dog amalgamation as a logo. It was a Dogo logo, and it was beautiful, and they played really well in the contender seasons. And FNRGFE itself was Fnatic, Energy, and Gale Force Esports. So it's just a big slop of a team. A lot of the guys on this roster, though. So we're not just referencing corn dogs because we're both starving right now. We're referencing corn dogs in reference to a former team where a lot of these guys came from.
I had Flame with the OG throwback there. You know, just making it clear. I'm glad that we have Hex here on point with the knowledge, making sure that we're all aware of the reference game. So we have Cool Matt, who is back in for Spree. So just keep that in mind. The Zarya specialist not going to be present here for the last map in this series, the one where all of the fight is going to have to be shown here from London Spitfire to stop Houston Outlaws from taking it 3-1. It will be Route 66. Yes, we're getting it all today, Hex. I love it, man.
I love new map pools. Get your kicks here on Route 66. Now, you mentioned that we are taking Spree out. Cool Matt's going to come back in because the first two stages are much better for D.Va overall. Matt's the better D.Va, Spree is the better Zarya. It's just how it is. That's the time they've spent practicing. Spree also just a nutty performance. Those of you who forgot he was even on the roster, comes in, reminds everybody how good Zarya can be on Kings. But if they get to the last point, you can see a very Kings Row-like composition coming out from teams as they push down that final corridor. Reinhardt's shield covers like the whole corridor. Yeah. Zarya's in there as well to cover flanks and things. So if we get to that stage, early on here though, this is a map that is very favorable to diving on the offense because they're gonna sit on top of the roof of the gas station like bored suburban kids and just wait for the enemy team to come up.
I would have gone with country kids, but you know, suburban kids, that works as well. All right, just throwing it out there. We got the hot dog here. It is the Found Observing team on point.
Quote,
they know what's up.
Quote meat. 100%.
I like that. 100% air quotes meat. So, I mean, none of us, I mean, hot dogs, they're so tasty, but none of you want to know what's actually in a hot dog. So, getting into it now. We have London Spitfire starting on the defense as the home team, Houston Outlaws, offense as the away team. And so, what do you make of the decision here from London Spitfire to be running a Sombra to start things off?
It's very popular on Route 66, especially first point. Second point gets a little bit dicey because where the pack locations are. Sombra and packs go hand in hand, at least in this patch, until maybe some changes come in. But there's a mega under this bridge here that Sombra can not necessarily use, but deny from the other team and deny flankers coming in. There's also a mega pack inside Big Earl. So that first pack right there is to make sure that the offense can't use it at all. That limits their healing. And the one that they're probably going to play around is the one inside of Big Earl. So they're not going to set up on top, they're going to set up around behind because they want to use packs.
Linkster is just like the most patient guy ever. He's like, all right, I am not out here to hunt monkeys. I am here to hunt the squishies. Where are the squishies? Show me the squishies! We're all asking where the squishies are right now. Linkster isn't the only one because I definitely want to see some headshots from this guy. He finally gets fed up with it, decides to go ahead and put a dent in D.Va's armor. And there we go. The man's on the hunt. He knows. He's seen them. They exist, Hex.
He can't see those silhouettes. We can, so still a mystery to him. He knows that the supports are hanging out top. And now that they've gotten enough push through here, he can find much better angles. Trying to go up the spire, unable to do that just as much. But now Raucus has done a great job of self-defense this entire series.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the better Zenyatta's out there, connecting orbs with face and making sure that you're not going to get the flank on him. Cool, that is not what Fury wants to see when he walks through that doorway. D.Va, you know, like mini D.Va, meet mech D.Va.
Absolutely crush that first push. Now the question is, in London's style, will they come back here and try to fight again? They do not like giving up points for free. Seems like they're posturing around right side to try to get back in here. Time's running out. They could transcend into this. They will come out and fight.
There will be that contest. I mean, that is kind of playing to London's style, philosophy. Guess what? Jake with the flying pulse. Not gonna find it though. They do manage to dodge it just in the nick of time. That does force London out into the open, however, but that trance will keep them alive. One thing to deal with the trance, however, could be a self-destruct, but London, too quick, are able to actually get out of harm's way. And so far, they're pretty spread out right now. Gesture and Birdring on the flanks taking duels.
This is a great fight for London. This is absolutely what they wanted. That was a little questionable, though, and it does not work out at all. It was a great fight because they didn't have to use EMP. They didn't have to use ultimates to win that fight. They'd gotten Valkyrie out of the mix as well. Muma had been down in that fight, and then they doubled down after it, throw ults into it, and still get nothing, and now Houston's turning it around.
This is all over the place. The stick as well. Fury, no mech. And well, yeah, Jake not even gonna bother.
I don't know how he was able to not get EMP'd there. It is that instant reaction that you hear the Sombra. It's what we saw in Volskaya as well. The Zenyatas have gotten so good at playing around Sombra because, I mean, she's their natural enemy. She's the hardest counter to Zenyatta in the game, or at least EMP is right there. Beautiful play by Raucus. Beautiful hair by Raucus. Anytime you get a chance to.
I mean, he does have luscious hair. Let's get that straight. But also, he's got the reaction times of a rabbit that hears the owl swooping in for the kill. At the last second, bam, bolts into the Transcendence hole and stays alive. I'm out there. That was a bit of a reach.
No, I enjoyed it. I'm starting to feel... This is how much of a carnivore I am. I feel bad for the owl in that situation. I'm like, oh, now dude's hungry.
Well, who else is hungry right now? It's Linkser. He's going to be looking for him. Does not. Oh, he gets the headshot on Hagafun just before Prophet is there to connect with him.
Yeah, too little, too late. Both supports had already gone down for Houston. That was in the midst of a reset. Linkser did pop his infra sight there. He's going to stay on the Widow. I like Widow on this point generally as well. It's a longer point, a lot of sight lines. It's very interesting. That's why you see London also moving over to a longer range hit scan themselves. Birdring's going to run a Soldier 76. It's a really interesting point because it's a mix of verticality, long sight lines. It's open in some areas where there's these small houses. It's a beautifully designed second point on this map.
All sorts of angles provide many options for the strategies, and while they provide options for versatile players to shine, Linkser definitely one of those. The Finnish terror. Cool Matt just decides to back off at that point. He was making some progress with it, decides to come back here and help out his mates. We will have Raucus committing once again with the Transcendence, but Hagafun is there to cancel it out, keeping his teammates alive as well. The fight will continue. Kind of curious to see when Cool Matt will decide to commit the self-destruct.
All the support ults came out from both sides. Birdring and Linkser both fall, so all the long-range damage out of the mix. Now it's going to be a fight. It's one of the reasons you can still run Widow is because you can get resurrected in those spots, but too late as Fury closes in on Boink.
Yeah, Boink with the punish. That is one of the drawbacks now. You need some support as Mercy to get that res off. If you've got nobody there to watch your back, you will take a bunch of bullets to the face, and well... Oh, that was you. Yeah, I don't remember that shout last week.
I was empathizing with her right there. So when we talk about the meta shifting, we saw, like, are we still going to see Mercy? And there's a few reasons why you will still see Mercy. Definitely with a Pharah, of course. They go, you know, peanut butter and jelly, Pharah Mercy. But also with a Widowmaker, because damage boosting Widow's really good. But more importantly, Widow's going to die in spots you can res. You can res her safely because she's always out of the mix. You can get back, and so that's where a place where Resurrection's still going to be useful. You saw it there. However, now that they've switched off of both Mercies.
Oh boy. Well, Linkser definitely got a little bit ahead of himself there. Gets cut down, Birdring, putting the tactical visor to the best use possible. We'll find the kill on Cool Matt, Mini Diva denied. And well, Birdring's still just hanging around here. Just falling back, close off those angles, get that high ground again, and wait for Houston Outlaws to have to commit into you, because they've only got 50 seconds left on this clock here to make the play happen, Houston. 2 ults to work with, but that's pretty much it.
Luma's going to pop his right away and wait for the rest of his team to come in. He's been such a distraction for this London team. They just try to deal with him constantly. London now has to defend against all these ultimates. Will pop a Primal Rage of their own here.
That was so sick. Gesture just pushing Linkser all the way to the back. He gets nothing out of his Dragon Blade. 20-something seconds left on this clock now, and London Spitfire have fully evicted the Outlaws. They weren't paying their rent. They have to get off the ranch.
Punished into the corner. London with a Pulse Bomb. It's the only ultimate available for either side of the mix. And now it's going to be some vanilla Overwatch here. No huge ultimates to really look out for. It's just going to be who can play mechanically better around this card.
Yeah, well, Jake, doing his job. Oh, and his post bomb. No, doesn't. No, yeah, it does get eaten up there in the end by Fury. And so for now, it is going to be the trickle effect here. Jake just trying to stay alive, keep the fight going. Muma is there to back him up, but Muma's a big target. He won't be around for long. Overtime Wick is nearly halfway there before Cool Matt can boost his way on to that point. But this is pretty much going to be it, as there is nobody alive here for Houston to get into this fast enough. The London Spitfire now with the hard shutdown. Only 1 point picked up here for Houston Outlaws on the 4th map in this series.
Seemed like London found a little bit of their focus or a clarity of target calling, at least. They weren't bamboozled by the tanks being distracting, as they were in Kings Row. The best plays from the tanks on Kings Row from Houston came from, hey, look at me, over here. And then the rest of the team went and did that and got punished for it. This time, they said, you know what's a really good target to kill on the other team is supports. If we kill the supports, the tanks will actually die. And that's exactly what they did. More than once, Houston lost both supports early in the fight, and that's simply a fight you're not going to win.
There's only so many times Rockets can get a headshot volley on Burgering, let's be fair. You know, or on Prof.
Well, I mean, so far I think it's been 3.
He is pretty good. He is pretty good. Yeah. Right. But eventually he will die.
Yeah.
And that is the opening moment there. The strafing run for London has worked out to this time in this map. Hoping to take it to overtime here, to a 5th map to decide the series. London definitely hanging in there, but that comes as a shock to no one. I think they are such a versatile and dangerous team. All right, let's see. Houston Outlaws, stop at Muma. Toying with my
I think he's trying to land a plane somewhere in Route 66. It's like the runway lights.
He's setting it up.
He's summoning.
But no, just stop. Muma.
Attackers
There we go.
incoming
All right.
in 30 seconds.
Someday, Hex. Someday.
London Spitfire on the offense right now. You see Hago is on the... I'm sorry, Hanzo. Completely blanked on his name. Because I scream it at the ladder games I'm in every night.
No, it's just like, you're like, but I've already said it. No, wait, I said Hago.
So he's going to use the Sonic Arrow just to check the train that hangs right outside the door, which is on the left side of your screen. We've seen strategies where teams will all huddle up in there and then flank you from behind, and so it costs nothing to just check out to see if they're in there. Maybe he's actually leaving spawn with it. He is not. He will go to Zenyatta. They are running a sniper, though. That is going to be Birdring on the Widow. On the other side of things, we have a Sombra, so this is kind of the standard play you're probably going to see a lot on Route 66.
They really do not want to give Birdring any early targets here. Birdring willing to take the risk, though. Not expecting to see one on the other side, and so he's willing to chuck himself out there with that grappling hook, throw himself into the air looking for the headshots. And while he does run into Linkser there, so that's a little bit unfortunate. We'll have to back off just a hair, but he's got good support from his teammates as well, putting up a challenge on that first high ground point. Although, as I say that, Houston Outlaws are able to collapse on the payload, and the payload, Hex, is what matters.
Well, Birdring missed his bridge there. He wanted to be up here earlier on the grapple. He wanted to land there. He overshot it. So now he's going to have the high ground, but he's got a Diva in his face. He needs a little bit of help. We'll get that from his friend. Still a slow poke game. It's been bloodless so far, and that's great for Rockets. Already built up his EMP.
Yeah, when does he commit to that fight, Raucus?
Right there.
Well, as he says it, there we go. Sneaks into the back, and that obliterates Gesture. He gets collapsed on by Cool Matt and the rest of the gang.
At this stage of the game, an EMP that kills one person is generally enough to win a fight. They're just going to back up. They're so close to spawn that there's no reason to recommit and then feed the enemy team ult charge. And if you keep sending people in, that's damage the other team does, that's more ultimates that they're going to get moving forward. So when you feel a fight's lost, it's best to just leave, go home.
I'm kind of curious here, because we have seen the swap coming through. Birdring no longer on the Widow. He's gone to the McCree, trying to keep the pace, and there it is. Sure enough, he got tired of Muma making noise there, and he's going to get the follow-up here on Cool Matt. Defense Matrix will be enough to keep Matt in this fight, but Birdring is definitely aware, and he's hunting. Oh, no, wait.
Does not get the finish there. Self-destruct now out of the mix, though. Jake has also gone down to Gesture, who's been 1v3ing this front line. Actually gets some help from his Diva there towards the end, and now all the pieces falling for Houston. As London continues to push forward. It was a nice Valkyrie during that fight from London Spitfire. They may not have noticed, because we're not expecting too many Valkyries, but there it is. Prof is going to stagger Muma, who's been the big issue. Honestly, this matchup has been great if you're a fan of Winston. Both Gesture and Muma have been dominant players.
Both of them excellent Winstons, no doubt. Well, now we're going to get to see Birdring. When does he decide to kill the Eye? He's got his ult up and ready, and so it's all a matter of just getting him out into the open here so he can do maximum damage, or just force them off if they decide to challenge early. Helix rocket to the face, that's never pleasant.
Well, you want to deal with Muma first if you're going to try to get this Deadeye in. And Birdring not going to go on the giant sneaky flank. What you can do is go on left side, walk up the stairs, get behind the team, but they're going to take the free push right now. Raucus in the mix, gets out without EMPing.
Houston has to be wondering, though. They haven't really seen Birdring. There we go. Finally going to spot him. Jake pays for that, and now Birdring, he's on the flank. He could get into the back line here, could actually make this Deadeye work in the end. If they lose focus for an instant here, Houston, they could pay in a big way.
They know where he is, though. I think they got spotted out by... There it is, right there, by Linkser early on. He's able to take him down. Here's going to be the Deadeye, but bopped around, gets nothing.
Nicely done. Quick reactions there from Cool Matt and Muma both. So Gesture will be able to trade it, at least taking down Boink in that mix, but London Spitfire now running into that defense.
Yeah, somewhat questionable EMP there. I mean, it charges up really fast, so it's more forgiving than anything else. But they were already leaving. They were on their way out when he EMP'd. They were unable to capitalize on those kills there. Now, the swing comes through. Birdring and Matt go down.
That's a big deal. You guys can see the rectangle not too far away here. London Spitfire now, a lot of pressure on the DPS here for Houston Outlaws to come up with some kind of big play. They need to find a target that can start swinging this their way. Linkser, he's got Tac Visor. That could definitely help. There's a sound barrier as well. Thrown down by Boink. And so Linkser on the hunt for targets, but he's getting body blocked, not quite connecting with anything at all. And so he is certainly not long for this world. Gets caught by Prophet. Houston Outlaws, however, still putting up the fight on the payload itself, but London Spitfire sticking together, getting that cleave damage in, and Fury right now just going to town.
There's no bodies on the point to be able to soak any of this damage, and Gesture will clean it all up with the Tesla cannon. We're going to a map number 5.
Oh, yes, it had to be this way, excuse me, as London Spitfire, I mean, a little bit of the shakiness here at the beginning of the stage, similar to what we saw at the first beginning of the first stage. But I mean, right now they're showing that they are definitely still the beast in this tournament. They won stage 1, they took it in, and so now we will have a very quick break, and we'll come back for match 5.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
That was so smooth by the Outlaws.
A stellar time for Houston.
London Spitfire take down 3 in quick order.
Not what you were expecting. They seem to be the favorites in this matchup.
Here we go, Cool Matt getting in there.
Fury dancing on the edge.
Oh, are you kidding me, Linksa?
Prophet, his tire, it's low, but it's still deadly. This is it, the big play, the turning moment. Welcome back, everybody. Very quick break. I wasn't lying because we got to get into match 5. We have to get into the decider. This series is tied up 2-2 between the Outlaws and the London Spitfire, and we're going to Ilios to end things. I'm sorry, Hex. It's not Lee Jiang. I know you're a big fan, but it is still a control map to end things here between these two teams.
Which doesn't really bode well for London, to be honest. It's been one of their worst map types. They look a little bit sloppy on it. Overall, I think we're definitely seeing signs that it's stage 2. We're on a new patch. Teams are adjusting because there's been some uncharacteristic play out of extremely high-level players on both sides today. There's been some consistent and solid play out of the tanks, which we expect from both of these teams, but everyone else still kind of feeling their way through stage 2 of the Overwatch League.
Yeah, it's one thing to scrim, and these teams have definitely been scrimming for the past week, but now, you know, you're in that live environment. These matches matter. We saw how close it got at the end of stage 1 between some of these teams in terms of map difference. Every map matters in each of these matches because going into the playoffs, that could be the deciding factor of you making top 3 or not.
Well, they say that you can learn more from losing than you do from winning. And if scrims are any indication, I've never heard of a team losing a scrim in my entire life.
That's what losers say, Hex.
Yeah, exactly.
let me just be straight with you.
That's fair enough. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we got called out. Completely called out. Got it. Thanks, man.
Where do we go from here?
Well, we're going to go to the murder hole from here. That's just something that we both agree on. That is going to be our stage 1 of Ilios. It is Lighthouse. We call it the murder hole because there's a hole with a no end at the bottom there, and you can pull people in, put them off, all sorts of stuff. You can see Orissa's. You can see a lot of different things on this map. I'm looking forward to Ruins if we get there, but we're going to kick it off here. We do have a Widow on the field. Interesting choice from Linkser. It can be a decent Widow map if you get yourself in position. Birdring on the other side of things, a more consistent Soldier 76.
Yeah, that's one thing to consider. Gesture, however, getting lit up here to start. He needs to get in line of sight of his healers to start getting topped up again. Does not want to get picked off early. We've seen how that really doesn't bode well for London when they lose him in the fight. But yeah, it is the murder hole. There's only death in there, and we'll see who gets booped into oblivion fairly soon. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of chances. Oh, Houston Outlaws coming so close, and they will get the point at the end. Just robbed London Spitfire.
No, London gave that away. They had toes near the point. You got to step on that. That's the reason that you set up in that corner, is so that you can have pack control and point control. You're not expecting to win the point for it, but you're going to deny it until something breaks, until Birdring hits a helix onto someone or something. And that's just miscommunication. You gotta step a toe into that pond and prevent that take from costing absolutely nothing.
And well, look at this already. Well, we get Linkser. Didn't really get the wow show from him on Route 66. But
it's been a quiet day from Linkser.
It has been. He's still, you know, he just got out of the sauna. He's got to limber up a little bit, you know, shake it off and get into this fight. Get zeroed in! There we go! Jake catches him unawares, and Hagafun is out of the fight already to start things off here. Houston Outlaws setting themselves up well to hold. They're at 45% and counting.
It's been interesting to watch Jake play Tracer, because a week ago I would have kind of laughed at the prospect of Jake playing Tracer. He just wasn't very good at it, to be honest. Some of his tracking was a little shaky, some of the sensitivity. But as the games have gone on in the Overwatch League, Jake's gotten better and better at Tracer each map. So who knows where the ceiling is for him too. For a while ago you would say, obviously you put Linkser on Tracer over Jake, but now not necessarily the case.
Exactly right. I mean, well, Jake is just so versatile. It's really made that clear. Bit of a meme at the start with the Jake Rat, but then he's like, oh, I need to play something else than Jake Rat. I guess I'll just own it that too. That's fine. Whoa, surprise, surprise. Linkser, that is definitely not what he was expecting up there. Insta-give. There will be the res, though. Rockets, no shame. Right out of the open, just grabs it. Brink Blinkers are back into the fight.
I like to think he locked eyes with Birdring the whole time. He was resing him like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? Now still the fight continues, 93% and counting up for Houston, and still London yet to really get any sort of traction here. Birdring, it just seems to be fighting a futile battle. Will finally get a couple kills. Raucus, Matt, Muma down. Maybe London can finally take control of this point at 99%.
Yeah, Boink is gonna be, whoa, never mind. Turns around and gets the kill on Prophet. I like it.
That's how you get tinnitus. Right in the dome. Please listen to your music at a reasonable level, people.
Or play your games at a reasonable level too, man. That's the brutal one. You go through a long day of Overwatch and you're just like, you want to hear all the sounds. Then you take your headset off and, well.
It's their fault for making the sound design so beautiful.
Life decisions. We're getting into it. Now, one big play here is for London to turn it around early enough as well. Although, as I say that, it is 99%. It feels early enough for London because they got 99-0 last time.
Yeah, already a little bit better progress. Jake will toss that pulse bomb away, not able to get it, but he comes back on the swing back and Hago down.
Birdring, though, not really going to get too much out of that. Just a single kill on Jake. And yet London, they are still here. Quite a bit of HP still left on the Houston Outlaws. So as I say that, Linkster gets reduced to 0. Fury presses forward, picks up that kill. And they are, nearly backcapping it, but eventually there will be the contest.
Never a doubt in my mind that we're going to get there. All right, that's a lie. There are a lot of doubts. They still are able to control the point, though, 54%. It's extrapolated out. It seems like Houston will have 2 more cracks at this to turn it around. Not a whole lot to work with, though. Sound Barrier can be good. Primal Rage is more of a stall tactic. Maybe bop people into the pit. Jake goes huge, takes down Hago to start this off, and Hago was close to Transcend.
Yeah, that was big. Again, Jake with a key kill that could turn it here for his team. Boink even gets the poop onto Gesture into the murder hole. No monkeys left here to delay things further, and that's definitely going to be frustrating. Jake darts out of the way of that self-destruct, and they will be able to flip this, Houston, unless who is here to contest? Nobody, and so the overtime, it's taken away, it's burning quick, and London just barely get in the nick of time to keep themselves alive in this fight.
Matt takes down Burger. They are able to get the Transcend there. That was actually the kill that Jake had to get, but he was unable to get there before the Transcend was popped. Still desperation time for London as they need to get kills to be able to turn this around. But this Houston team sticking so close together. Revenge for Hago. It takes down Jake. Might be the opening they need.
That's big. That's a lot of DPS loss here for Houston. We've got an angry monkey jumping around. That's not exactly what you want. Although, if they leave this point for even a split second, you saw it. They just narrowly avoided losing this map here. London Spitfire. That was far too close. Linkster with the Dragon Blade now hunting for the squishies. Doesn't matter. He'll go for a monkey too. Gets 1 kill on Gesture. Looking for the follow-up, and eventually the Shurikens will do. Fantastic turnaround for Houston Outlaws. We got it from Linkster's perspective, but the whole team came together there in the end, and they are now up 1-0 on the last map in this series.
Probably his best blade of the day. It's one of the aspects of Genji he's been struggling with today, at least, is actually capitalizing on what is one of the most game-changing ultimates in the game, especially from a DPS standpoint. I mean, you're generally expecting at least 2 kills for Dragon Bait because of the dash resets there. You get a kill, you find another target, you dash over, get another kill. It can just really snowball out of control.
Well, he is one of those players who still seems to be finding his feet here. Finding his feet. Muma, again, but we will see the swamp certainly here.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, and yes, all right, sticking together as a group, the killer unit. Houston Outlaws moving forward. They need 1 point here to get the big win versus London Spitfire to start off stage 2 of the Overwatch League, and that's what we're all waiting to see. Are they capable of it, or will London Spitfire show once again just how resistant they are to defeat?
They're running mirror compositions here. The 76s are going to be on balcony high ground, essentially mirroring each other up top. Birdring takes down Jake, who gets a little too fancy and has a Helix dropped at his feet. That is enormous. Oh, see how they want to take advantage of it.
Sorry, I thought Fury was about to get knocked off the side there for a second, but he had boosters up to get back into it.
No, that's fine. I'm speechless anyway, because London gets the first kill, then they give up the point for free. I do not understand how that happens consistently.
That is tough. London, they really need to get in here and stop letting Houston get this free progress. And, well, they are very close. Lynx are still in this, though. That biotic field keeping them in the fight, and they... Oh, yeah! There we go. Style points for Linkster. Point blank Helix on a closer.
My tactical visor is charged. He does a great job of just pushing back the onslaught from the Spitfire in firm control now. See where they want to try to get Linkster set up. Matt and Jake are going to be the scout squad out there looking for the rest of the team. Jake's actually lurking behind right now. He's at 75, which is close to get a pulse bomb and drop it. Prophet also has pulse bomb of his own.
Curious to see, though. I mean, Jake perfectly capable of getting the one clips off if you can find that back line. Hago can tell you. Definitely not a pleasant experience. Prophet has got his pulse. So, but he's just getting forced out here by the tanks. Cool, Matt. They're not going to let him get in here. Muma doesn't manage it either. Gets denied, and so Jake now, he has been spotted on this flank. Hago is going to have nightmares here. He's calling for support. He's calling for help. He's like, please don't let Jake get close to me.
Being able to ignore his counterpart, Linkser had burned down the Tactical Visor. Tactical Visor comes out for Murdering on the other side now as well. They transcend to get their way through it. Now everyone's smashing support ults.
Wow, that Trance getting in there just in time to keep Fury in that mech. That is big. Cool Mac gonna go for the self-destruct, but Murdering will find the kill first. And this is just back and forth now, pure chaos. Moma and Jake trying to do the best that they can here to keep it alive for their teams, 83% and counting. But London Spitfire will finally succeed in flipping the point their way, and Jake will get caught by Prophet.
Unable to get himself off the edge there, but they are one fight away from taking this stage, the map, and the set against the London Spitfire. So far, only Fury with a self-destruct to work with. You have to give the edge to Houston here. They simply have a better understanding of objective play on these control maps. Have been able to just kind of steal percentage points away, not even fight for it.
Yeah, for free. They have a huge lead now, and that is a bit on London Spitfire, but let's see. It's not over yet. London can definitely turn this around. Fury, there's the self-destruct. Gonna get that remake going. Not quite gonna get the kill there on Muma, but Prophet will be there to clean up the job. And Prophet with the stick! Raucus is out of it.
That's what needs to happen. Prophet needs to get his confidence back. I think one of the issues why you see him focusing down tanks is because it's a lot safer than going back on Raucus. Raucus kind of spanked him 3 times in a row there, and he didn't really want to go in there. But as a Tracer, if you lose confidence, you've lost the game already. You have to play on that Razor's Edge. If I'm recalling with 2 health rather than 20 health, because that last bullet means everything.
It's a fine line. Well, Jake has been putting up a fight as well. Prophet gonna get over here, looking for the Winston Muma. Oh, Primal! Prophet, quick reactions, keeping him alive there with the blink. He'll be able to stay in this, and he eventually collects the kill on Muma as well. Bonus party favor there. Linkser with the attack visor, not quite gonna get too much out of it. And we do have Raucus having used the trance. It's now gonna be about him hitting Morbs.
Sound Barrier went in and missed a couple of the heroes on London, but it should be enough for them to sustain. Matt now out of the mix, gonna make things a lot more difficult for the rest of his team. Now they're getting chased down. It is time to retreat. Houston has one more crack at this to take the stage and the set. Otherwise, we're going to ruins.
It's going to be a fine line here for Houston. They don't have a whole lot of time to work with. They are going to wait just long enough for everybody to group up together. Muma going to get in there to be able to contest that point immediately and leaps into the fray. Prophet with the recall, so he's a little bit less of a threat until that comes off cooldown here. The self-destruct getting used on the point, and somehow Cool Matt will find the kill on Fury, but Gesture is there to trade versus Raucus.
Gesture's in here is trying to bat people around and off the cliff, trying to set himself up for knocking people off. Jake is able to take down Hago. Birdring now out of this fight as well, courtesy of Jake. Prophet gets a late kill on Linkser, but not going to be enough. Houston has knocked London Spitfire off of Ilios here so far. Going to be very difficult for London to even get back. The first to respawn was Hago. He's slow as heck, 95%. And I'm not even sure they're gonna get the touch. Fury's gonna go in, that's just a touch. He's gonna die immediately.
Yeah, and Gesture should be back with the leap. With the jump pack, he is dancing on it. You will have Prophet in there as well. The recall has been forced. Trance is in. Hagopen, he's going to ferry them onto the point now, trying to keep him alive as Muma goes to work with this mitts, just beating him into the wall. Self-destruct is there to create even more space here for Houston Outlaws. Just read the chaos. And there it is. The stick from Prophet will remove Linkser. A lot of DPS lost, but it might be too much here. Too much for London Spitfire to handle. They're strafing right and left, just trying to keep their plane in the air.
They've got bodies back in here. Hago does follow. It's all their healing down. Fury will follow soon after. And though they got a couple of kills in the kill feed, the avalanche of white comes in for the Houston Outlaws. They will take down the London Spitfire. Revenge to open up stage 2.
3-2 going the distance. It could only happen this way, but a big win for the Houston Outlaws. Taking it against one of the toughest teams in the league. London Spitfire left wondering what went wrong. You win stage 1. You win the playoffs in stage 1, and then you are not quite capable of taking down the Outlaws. That is a big shock here for the London Spitfire, but what a day for the Outlaws. Fantastic work.
Good for them. They were supremely confident earlier today that they were going to beat London. They put in the work. These two teams are very similar to each other, in my opinion, just as they're built across the roster. To a man, you got Gesture and Muma. You got very versatile DPS on both sides, some standout Zenyatta play. That's enough from us. Let's go to the desk and see what they have to say about that match.
What a win for the Outlaws here today. They walk away with the Game 5 victory in another big matchup. I feel like, guys, this is a rivalry. This is now the third time we've seen these series, or these two teams match up. Third series goes to a Game 5. 2 wins now for the Outlaws. London, though, has your Stage 1 crown. Let's talk about the action here. Brent, coming into Game 3, at the very start of the show, you said, whatever team doesn't play around the tanks is going to win.
Yep, I did say that. I did say the team that played Ryan compositions was going to lose. I was wrong. However, I did predict Houston to win, so I've got that one over Johnny.
Yes, you got it this time. But at least I got to see some Reinhardt and Zarya, so I'm happy regardless. I don't always have to be right.
I love that you just accepted that loss,
yes.
Johnny. It's all right. You got the short-term loss, long-term win here with Houston's pick, and it started with Game 3. If you remember at the half, we were all tied up 1 apiece. We go to King's Row. And all of a sudden, we see Hanzo in play. Bren, this is normally a hero that I see in my queue, and I get really frustrated because normally he's on my team. Today, though, I would have loved to have Linkser on my squad. Walk me through what was Hanzo doing on King's Row.
Yeah, this is our insights powered by Intel. Oh, not actually. This is just going to be a normal replay. However, this is really why Hanzo is so good on King's Row. And I'm going to be taking you all back so that we might have some people watching. They don't really know what's going on with these compositions, but you just need to pay attention to Linkser here on the Hanzo and why he's so good on King's Row. Basically, he picks up the high ground here. He's got incredible sight lines all the way down the map here. He can fire off arrows for days, all day long. The scatter arrows, the sonic arrows, getting information for his team by seeing through the walls. But it's not just Linkser as well on the Hanzo that's causing issues. Jake has complete control over in a hotel area as well. So basically, Houston have got this on lockdown. Not to mention as well the fact that Spree and Muma are also just waiting onto the point here, taking up positioning and slowly capping it up. So if we watch this play out now, basically London, they can't play in the sight lines because they're died to Linkser. They can't play around hotel because they died to Jake. Instead, they're just playing super passive, just waiting around, and they don't get anywhere with it. This composition they're running cannot dive past the front lines, and that's what you need to do against this tank composition. You need to dive past the back lines, through the front lines, I should say, pick off those backline characters. London did not do that at all. In Houston, they get an easy cap.
They got it in 45 seconds. That's 3.8 in 45 seconds. Let's talk a little bit about London's strategy here, Johnny. Was this just, you know you're going to lose based on the composition, having the Diva Winston, and might as well give it up, try and play out the rest of the map on defense? Or was this just positioning issues that we saw from the Spitfire?
Well, it was a really indecisive London Spitfire, I have to say, because you have the Winstons. You can theoretically punish the Hanzo, of course, but I think Raucus on the Ana is the key, because Raucus is always by Linkster's side and he heals him up repeatedly. So we actually saw in that telestrator segment that Birdring went up on the McCree and tried to challenge Linkster on the Hanzo, but because Raucus is there with the biotic grenade, he managed to shut down and heal up Linkster, of course. So I think it's a bit of indecisiveness coming out of London Spitfire, because you would have liked to see Gesture perhaps jump onto the back line, but we didn't see it, and they just ended up abandoning the point.
Now, we saw Houston take point A, 45 seconds. They continued to steamroll, and one of the guys that I was super excited to see in the lineup today is Spree. If you remember back at the Contenders, you watched a lot of Spree. You saw him previously in the preseason. You saw him once in Stage 1, just one map in Stage 1. Here he comes out today, and it looks like he's just been training on Zarya this entire time.
I mean, he's the Zarya god, right? He's pretty much only in Houston Outlaws to just play this Zarya because he is so good at it. And I mean, when you get momentum with a Reinhardt, Zarya, and Hanzo composition, it is so hard to stop, because you have the Graviton Surge, you have, of course, have the Dragon Strike coming out of Hanzo, so you can combo those. I mean, a Reinhardt, he can use his Earth Shatter, and then you use the Graviton Shot.
You just rotate them, right?
You just rotate them. So, I mean, the way you build your ultimates and use them on King's Row with all of these 3 heroes, it's so hard to stop. Especially when you haven't played versus it for like half a year.
Yeah.
You forget a bit, how do I play versus a Ryan?
I assumed that these teams would be able to play around the Ryan Zarya, right? This is why I put out that tweet saying that the team that plays Ryan was going to be losing.
And you were wrong.
Because that's what we saw the other day. I was wrong. I was very wrong. But I wasn't anticipating Houston to just roll it forward and snowball with the ultimates, right? right? Those big value ultimates, the Graviton, the Earth Shatter, just rotating them with the Dragon Strikes and just literally slamming it home.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to see it because now we have Timo yesterday, of course, on the Reinhardt, and now we have Muma on the Reinhardt, and so far Reinhardt has 100% win percentage this stage. So.
Oh, he doesn't.
Reinforce's favorite hero, 100%, 100%. It's a fact. Yes, I heard it from our stats guy, not in my ear. All right, Reinforce real quick on Zarya for all the Zarya players at home. Does she belong on more maps than just Kings Row? What should we see her on here in stage 2?
Well, we could see her on Hollywood as well. There's a few maps. It needs to be very narrow maps. I mean, if you pull out Zarya on Watchpoint Gibraltar, you need to reconsider your hero decisions. But we can see her on Kings Row and Hollywood perhaps, and I mean, some control maps, of course, as well. We see her on Lijiang pretty often. So, yes, there is more room for Zarya.
I like it. All right, so Spree, great on Zarya, but he's not in the game 4. And there we see Route 66 go in favor of Gesture in the London Spitfire. It seemed that the tanks for the Spitfire had control most of that map. Now we go to a game 5 control. Right, we're going back to where it's all about the mechanical skill. And as we take a look at some of the best moments from this game, what were you guys seeing? Because I'm so amazed to see Houston Outlaws always in the lead when you look at the scoreboard when it came to control.
Yes, and I mean, Houston were just in complete control of this game. Boink, this man right here. Okay, this is their like secret weapon because in stage 1, they only ran this guy on control maps.
Right.
And now he's just been training. It's like the hyperbolic time chamber, right? He's been on the Lucio and only the Lucio. He hasn't had to flex over to the Mercy really in rare situations. And now they can just bust him out when we're in a Lucio metagame. And he's had the practice. That's all he's been training on. He's been putting in work.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, Houston, they were pretty subpar on control. Going into Ilios, I'm pretty sure they had like a 30% win rate on Ilios, and London Spitfire had like 70% win rate. So this was so much in favor of the London Spitfire, and still the Houston Outlaws managed to pull out the win.
I always knew.
I'm just surprised. What a shocker.
Yeah, so for everyone at home, explain it real quick. What was the one difference maker? If you could highlight one moment in that game 5, why did Houston walk away with the victory?
Well, I'm going to give all the credit to Linkser, to be honest, because I think he outshone the DPS on the London Spitfire squad by a huge margin. I mean, Jake was in the back line, being a nuisance on the Tracer, of course, but when you're playing versus Zenyatta and Lucio, it's pretty hard to get work done. So Linkser, in many ways, he was a difference maker, in my opinion.
And it's only fitting that we chose him to be our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Johnny, you saw this one coming. Here is the Great Finn back at it again. We've seen him on the Widow. We've seen him on the Genji.
Hanzo.
Today, I loved the Soldier more than the Hanzo, but let's talk about this guy because he's shown us he can basically play anyone in the game that deals damage.
Yeah, that's the most impressive aspect for me, is that normally that's like an attribute that you pin on a lot of these Korean DPS players, but Linkser's just showing them what's what. You know, this European guy, this Finnish dude just coming out of seemingly nowhere, right? This Finnish dude. Nobody really knew who Linkser was, right? Nobody knew who Linkser was before Contenders. All right, me and you, Johnny, we knew, right? He was on Creation back in the day, but we're going back to our OG Overwatch roots here. We're not going to talk about that, but most people didn't know who Linkser was, and he's come into the scene, and he's just exploded, and he's literally absolutely dominated the DPS scene. Super impressive by Linkser. I'm super happy for him.
So today, Houston Outlaws showing us a whole lot of new stuff. We saw a lot of roster swaps coming in for the London Spitfire. Moving forward in stage 2. Player to watch from each of these teams. Give me a non-DPS, because that's all we've talked about for these teams.
I'm going to go with Closer from London Spitfire, because I think we'll see more of Hagapun and Closer as we move throughout this stage. They have a lot of support experience playing together on GC Busan back in the days, and I think Closer is the better Lucio in London Spitfire squad, so we're going to see this duo a lot more in the future, and so look out for Closer.
I like it. Support duo from the Spitfire. Closer, great shot caller. What about you?
Have I got to go for Houston here because he went with Spitfire?
Yes, sir, that's
Houston? Okay, that's the way it works, apparently. So, I mean, Spree is one of the players. Thank you, Reinforce. Thank you for doing my job for you. Yeah, Spree. I mean, the guy, I want to see the Zarya guy. Like you said, it seems like he's been playing it constantly. You're just bringing him out for these maps where you do play the Zarya. Kings Row, you mentioned you can play him on Hollywood sometimes as well for the final point when you're just pushing it in. But Spree, I think we should be looking at him.
It's a new rivalry, and it continues to bloom. I love it. Houston versus London. Today, Houston gets the win, but that's just the first match of 3. When we come back, the Mayhem mount this stage. Will they be able to take down the top dogs? We'll find out after this.
Question to ask you guys. What time is